Ladies and gentlemen,
I just connected. I forgot my mic. That's where we at right now. Forgetting mics. It's good, boys.
Chilling.
I think you notice that let's say you enter like a new phase of prep, right? And then let's say your food and energy goes down, but after a while on that same plan, eventually that becomes your new normal, right? And you're kind of like, I'm kind of okay, it's like it's all relative, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't know which stage of grief it is, but acceptance is somewhere in that progression.
That's the word I was going to use. So you just accept the fuckery and like, all right, well, whatever, it is what it is.
But it doesn't have.
I've been there for a few months now.
But like it doesn't happen once, right? Okay, this is how prep in my head is, right? It's like, okay, well, let's say 20 weeks out, or I don't know, 18 weeks out, 16 weeks out. You start, you're like, okay, I'm excited to eat less food. Ooh, I'm motivated. Let's go, boy, champ. And then you're kind of like, huh, this feels good. Like, when is it gonna feel bad? Because I feel great. This shit, I'm stronger. This is great. One day out of the blue, maybe like 6 weeks out or 7 weeks out, 5 weeks out, whatever kind of bodybuilder you are, boom, it's like the next day you're like, holy fuck, I feel like shit. It's like
it's living from one day to the next. Yeah, there's no warning, exactly.
And then it's like from then on, it's like you constantly keep telling yourself, "There's no way this could get worse, right?" And then I don't know about like nowadays because like we've all done this a few times, but like the first time you get in shape, it's like, dude, is this normal? Like, plus, right? Like, oh my god.
No,
I had one of my clients he got in great shape for his couple shows these past weekends, but he'd never been in that kind of condition, right? And I had to like kind of talk him through, like, because what he was like, it couldn't possibly get worse, right? Every single time. And, I'm super proud of him though. He pushed through it and he looked great. So
the first one's always the worst one.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? In my head, I'm like, it's gonna be a breeze because there's zero chance that Compton is gonna put me through what I put myself, which is true. He didn't give me as much cardio as I did last year, and last year I got down to 800 calories. I haven't been lower than 1,300. So technically, it is easier if you look at the numbers. But here's the thing: every year I've competed, I've gotten leaner, right? So the body fat part it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. When you're overly fatigued, like I was last year, it's like a drained feeling, like I'm defeated. This year, it's not that feeling. It's just like a functioning feeling. I can't function. I can't. Hey, why didn't you text me back yesterday? I don't know, bro. I looked at my phone and I got anxious, and I'm like, I don't want to use the energy to pick up my phone. I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm so bad about that right now, about like getting back to people. Fuck. I'm staying on top of it with my clients for the most part, but like someone DMs me or texts me, I'm like, whatever. And it's not like I don't have the energy to do it. It's like it gives me anxiety. I don't know why. It's so dumb. Like I'm not like this usually, but
I don't know why. But now it makes sense when I see other people and I'm like, I don't think he's suffering because how is he traveling? How is it's a different kind of, it's like a lean tired. It's not like because he's doing the 2 hours of cardio tired. So it's different. It feels miserable, but like that, it feels miserable. Like he's standing there like, I can't believe I'm here in Philadelphia. Oh my God. But he can do it. He just feels fucking miserable all day while he's doing it. So that's something I had an experience because I'm just like, usually I'm miserable, but I can't actually do anything. Now I'm like, I can do it. I'm just miserable while doing it. So it's just different. It's just different feelings. But I think that's where you should be because you should be lean. But in a best case scenario, you shouldn't have to do 3 hours of cardio to get lean. That shouldn't never happen. So you don't want to be in our position. You should never put yourself in a position where you even have to do that to begin with. You know, so like it's like me and Brett been talking a lot, and I see it. Like he's miserable, but he can still get it done, which is where you want to be because his calories and workload isn't super high, but he's lean as fuck. So he's feeling that like, oh fuck, you know. It's just
and part of it's the hormonal stuff too. You know, just having like crashed estrogen, you know, tests being lower. It's just not normal.
That's where it hit me with the crashed estrogen.
Oh, don't even use the word. That shit hurts. Give me a stomach ache when I hear this.
Yeah, bro.
The moment I take that Arimidex, I just feel so like not human, bro. It's now that's a different kind of fatigue as well. That just feels like how do you even explain it? It's just miserable.
Well, to me, that's what I was gonna say. That's where the misery starts kicking in because at some point you're just kind of fatigued, like whatever, and then now you just don't fucking feel things. You're like, I just don't like life right now.
All your drive to do stuff and
yes,
your desires to like what you want and all that shit is just like gone. It's weird.
Yeah.
So you have to like consciously tell yourself, like, I need to go do X, Y, and Z to get through the day. But like, you know, you're listening to the same music you used to like, and you're just like, whatever. You can't pay attention to shows that you like, that you're trying to watch. It's just like, I just don't give a shit, you know.
Stu said it perfectly. It's the drive. It's dangerous to lose the drive because now you're like, okay, I could do an hour of cardio. I don't want to. But I'm gonna do it because I have to. But I really don't want to. So it's like the drive gets less, which I hate that because the drive is a big part of what gets you to do all that fucking cardio, right? So you lose that drive, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to lose that drive. So the AIs, I definitely want to be more careful with that. There's been years where I've fucking unloaded those AIs, and
last year was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was torture, man. I don't. Even though there's pros who do that protocol, I don't know if I agree with it. Honestly, I think you feel much better just dropping your test out completely or lowering your test. If you have a body type that even needs to do that, because a lot of people can just stay on high tests anyways, right? But I would much rather in a client lower the test a lot less than crash the estrogen. It's just not worth it. What's up, Ken? I feel like Ken's been sitting there a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm trying to be respectful, you know. Yeah, what's up, guys? I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's good to be back.
It's been a minute. But yeah, we just talking about the different preps and shitty feeling. But it's funny that we all do this sport, even though we know that misery is coming. But it's short lived. Like if you really think about it, what's 6 weeks out the year? You're really miserable for 6 weeks. The rest of the prep is kind of fun. If you take out that
it's most of the prep is fun. Like, I mean, most people start, I think, around, let's just say, 4 months out on average, between 12 and 16 weeks. So those first, like, pretty much up until you get to 5-6 weeks, you're fine, right? Like, I mean, I'm fine. And then out of nowhere, like you say, you get bitch slapped with reality, getting up, taking piss, like, oh, shit's getting heavy. So,
It's from 6 weeks out.
Yeah, about 6 weeks out for most people, I think. And then that period of time, like I said, what is 6 weeks? But everyone around you, though, they're like, man, why are you so miserable?
Yeah, because even like 10 weeks out, man, that's like the best you ever feel. You know, you're motivated, things are moving, you look great, and you're actually productive, you know, in the gym and outside the gym. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like in preps, I really get a lot of stuff done till I get to that last part, and it's like, man, I just want to go to bed.
If only you could stay in that last part. Some people are closer. Some people who like stay on really, really high food, I'm watching and I'm like, oh, they getting shit done. I think some people get to draw it out a little longer. I think, but it's all relative, huh?
For me right now, like where my body fat levels are at, where my food's at, and how I feel. Even though I'm on the opposite end, coming out of a prep, I feel exactly that moment right now. Like I feel good, but I still look really lean for where I'm at, and then I'm not hungry, like I'm hungry for every meal, but I don't go to bed hungry ever. So,
well, yeah, you're in the rebound. The rebound is the best
yeah.
part.
So, but this is like that part where like you feel I'm coming down at prep. This is like the 8 weeks out part for me. And that's how I feel on this side. So I'm like on the best part of the rebound, where I'm not tired after every meal and shit. So feel good.
How are you doing, Stu? I mean, you're man, you've been going, bro. How are you doing?
Yeah, that 6 weeks out moment has been going for about 3 months now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking wild.
I got one more week, and then win, lose, whatever in Vancouver. I'm not doing Chicago, man. I'm not. I hope mentally, I can get a qualification. I'm just fucking done, man. I'm checked out.
Man,
so it's been a long season, and it's none of us have had seasons like that. It's actually your first one too, so it makes it even worse. You know,
yeah,
so
and
I completely get that.
The annoying thing is like I was looking at pictures at like 6 weeks out from New York. I was in basically in condition at 6 weeks out. And
that's what we all said.
So like I didn't really realize at the time, just like there's no fucking way, right? But no, I've been here for so long, and in retrospect, like not that we could have done anything different, or it kind of worked out, but like I don't think I'm ever gonna do more than like an 8 or 9 week prep in the future. Like there's no point. Like I'm just wasting my time holding my dick, you know, waiting for the show to come when I'm in shape at 6 weeks out. I mean, why?
The good news though is now you know where that threshold is for you.
Yeah, you know? And every year I've competed, it's been like, yeah, I could have made this prep shorter, so we make it a little shorter, and then we do it again, and it's like now it's even shorter than we expected. So but yeah, I'm tired of the restriction. I'm tired of feeling crummy and, you know, not being productive and not being able to do stuff with my girlfriend. It's just it shouldn't go on this long.
Life is on hold, you know, until it gets done. Yeah.
It's like I just completely like relate with Stu in that kind of way. I haven't done a long prep, but just in general, the way he feels right now, I think we've all felt that, you know. But
go ahead, sorry.
Multiply that by what 3? I mean, by however much weeks you've been doing
3 months,
that shit would make me nauseous. Like I would be sick to my stomach. I would want to throw up.
Well, it's like, weird because like I've gone through phases of like feeling pretty decent, you know, because I get refeeds, my food goes up and down, like, and like, you know, a week and a half ago when I was out in Texas with Jordan, that was super fun, and I actually didn't feel that shitty. You know, I was tired, but like not crappy like I am now. I think I dropped my test out at like 2 weeks out. This time I've dropped all my growth hormone out.
Which ester test?
Probe. Yeah, I've been using Probe for a while now, but
oh man.
Yes. So, and then, you know, AIs are high. Blue actually. So little background here. A couple days ago, I'm lean, right? Like my body fat is off of me, but like I don't look like I should right now. I'm like, for whatever reason, I'm holding more water than I was before New York at a week out. So Blue decided to just drop out all my injectables and ramp up my oral last week. And it's just been a couple days of that. It's already made a big difference. Because I usually keep my shots in until Wednesday, Thursday night for Saturday show. It's never been an issue, but like, I don't know if it's because I'm just physically fatigued from being this lean for this long, or if I don't think it's a mental stress thing. It's
like, remember, I just
the body's
talked
response
about
is different. The body's response is different. Yeah.
When I said, you know, I hope Stu's like able to keep up his body for doing it this long, because I said after a while, you know, your body will start shutting down because it's tired. So the look will start deteriorating. And I said, you think Stu will be able to hold that look all the way through.
Y'all were talking
like,
about me?
Yeah,
yeah.
My back?
I brought it
Oh
up
my
because
gosh.
But you know,
like,
like even like Aceto always says it, right? No, like no peak is ever the same,
Yeah,
right? So like
that's what
with
Blue
each,
keeps on telling me. And
yeah,
it's just, it's a little annoying, right? Because like leanness wise, I'm where I was before New York. But like
yeah,
before New York, in years past, I would go to bed and piss out like 6 pounds of water overnight. I'd be all watery and shitty looking before I go to bed, and I wake up drier, right?
yep.
Not quite as dry as I need to be on stage, but much better. I've just been going to bed looking shittier, or a few days ago at least. I was going to bed like holding way more water than I was before New York at that time of day. And then I'd wake up and there's still more water on me. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? So we made some changes. I didn't need to use it was just nice going to New York because we knew that like I was leaner than last year and I'd have to do less shit. Like I wouldn't have to take any diuretics. I'd just have to gradually fill myself up over the course of the week, bring my water down, and I'll be good. And that's what we did. It was easy. I'm not worried about being able to peak for Vancouver here because things are already looking better in the last few days. But just it would be nice if it was super straightforward and easy like the first two shows. I think this is just going to be a peak that's a little closer to what I did last year for like New York because I had to use a quarter tab of diazide there. I tapered my water harder than I did this year. But yeah, it'll work out. It's just like I wish that it was just we could just do the exact same shit, but it's just not how it works.
No. Yeah, that was kind of what I said when Joe brought that up, right? Because in my head, I'm like, Stu is somebody who diets on pretty low to no cardio and pretty high food relatively, and he doesn't have to do anything crazy at the end. So because of that, if he had the long prep, he still has so much aces up his sleeve, right? Whereas if you take like Iifym, who already has to take 15 diuretics and go zero carbs and drink no water for two weeks, if you get him and have him do 3 shows, by that third show, you might be in the hospital. You might be in the hospital if you try to pull one more ace, So it gives you that leeway. It's gonna be harder, for sure. Gonna be harder. And you're gonna look a little different, probably. I don't know. That could be a good thing or bad thing.
I don't know if I'll look better or worse, man. Because like I think I'm leaner, right? So if we can pull all this water off in the next week, or like right before I get on stage, which I think what we can do, it should translate to a better look. But I think I just need to like not be afraid to eat enough, like before California, and it'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point. So like, I don't have to do a bunch of cardio. I do eat a decent amount of food, but I have a fast metabolism. You can kind of run yourself into the ground if you're not careful, and that physical
the body loses too much.
That physical fatigue builds up quicker on me than like, I don't know. I always kind of imagine like if you took a football player, right, a guy who is doing fucking 2-a-day practices, freak athlete kind of guy, he can recover from tons of training and workload, right? Like that's one end of the spectrum. I'm not at that end of the spectrum. Like I'm a decent athlete, but like there's a limit to what my body can recover from and handle physically, especially even in the off season, but like especially in prep. So that's why I kind of got to dance this line of like getting flat and spilling back out.
Yeah, your body can run away from you.
Yeah, but a guy
much.
like Beatty, you can eat fuck all food and do a bunch of cardio, and you're not really gonna lose any muscle. Like you've been killing yourself these last few weeks here. You don't look any smaller, Beatty. Maybe you look in the mirror and you think you look smaller, but you don't.
That's why I was thinking it's all relative, right? You get your food, but he has the ability to retain muscle. But at the end of the day, like your body at a certain percentage of fat still is worn out and put under stress to try to function.
I think Beatty can handle that stress better than most people. Last year, he overdid it. I think he'd probably agree. Before the USAs, but it was it's just you got to do shit different. But
I gotta be
one
honest.
more week and go ahead.
If 90% of people follow last year's prep and protocol, I think they would die. Like, not even being dramatic, they would literally die.
I remember you telling me what you were doing before
that's why
when I saw you at the cow, and it was like, dude, what?
That's why
just the AIs alone were horrifying.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't like to say the exact numbers very often, just because it's not my responsibility what people do. But I don't even want to throw that out there like that's like a normal thing, So
yeah, like your gear doses weren't like crazy or anything. I don't even remember if we talked about that, but like the AIs that you were saying, like it's like
diuretics
so
much,
too, man.
Diuretics.
I don't even remember what you did there, but
yeah. So that's just one of those things that everybody's so independent that like I see somebody like Hassan Mustafa. We talked about him with AJ Sims, but I'm like, yo, that's the only way he's gonna get in shape. Is it dangerous? I think for everybody else, yes, it would be very dangerous. But for his body, I don't think because it's not like my blood work ever comes back off or I have heart issues or organ issues. It's just my body can tolerate that. So I think if you're somebody like Hassan, your body can tolerate that, and that's the only way you're gonna get in shape. So if you run away from somebody like AJ, but that's too intense, you're just never gonna get in shape. That's like me saying, Compton, we can't do this. I will never get in shape. So it's not you have no choice. Now, if you're doing that and it's killing you, then you can't bodybuild. You got to fucking stop bodybuilding. There's no, but
dude,
if you can do it. Mm-hmm.
I did HIIT cardio for my freaking prep.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that was the only thing that was getting the fat off. Like, from like 8 weeks out, I was stuck at 240. No matter how much we dropped the food, whatever, my body would just not go below 240 till we had to do HIIT like you're doing right now. 40 minutes every morning. And
what?
It's like, yeah, dude, I did
that much HIIT. Holy shit!
Yeah. I was doing it on the stairs. I've done
like 10 or 12 minutes on a bike before, and it was intense. Like 15 seconds on, 45 seconds of rest. Interval kind of shit. That's brutal.
Well, it's you have no choice. You have no.
Just got to do what you got to do.
Compton told me that like what are we now? Maybe 5 weeks out. He's like, at this point, you're gonna have to go as hard and fast as possible. I'm like, HIIT? He said, if that's what it takes. So when I say 2 hours, I'm doing 1 minute all out, 1 minute catch my breath for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit.
Hell no.
So once again, that goes back to what Stu was saying. First of all, if you're not an athlete, you wouldn't be able to do it, period.
You can't do it.
Like, no. I don't care what motivation you got. Physically, you can't do it. If Stu tried to do it, I think his legs would pump up and give the fuck out. Because
I wouldn't bodybuild if I had to do that, period. I'm too much of a pussy. Like that is bullshit.
But then to go back to what Joe is saying, it's like the people who need to do it, their body allows them to do it. It's weird. Yeah. So it's not easier for me and Ken, obviously, right? Is it harder? I would say so, but at the same time, our bodies allow us to do it because we retain so much muscle. We can do it, right? It's like 2-1. If Paul tries to do it,
be black.
So when I say you can't do it, it's not like, well, you don't have the drive to do it. Literally, your body can't do it because it doesn't work that way.
Thanks for making excuses for me, but I just wouldn't do it.
So I had a 14-week prep, and with how low our food was and everything, I only flattened out once in 14 weeks with all that stuff that we were doing. So
fucking Nigerians, bro.
When you say,
oh my god,
when you say flatten out, you mean visually or physically?
Visually.
Okay,
I only flattened out once.
I've never seen you flat before. It's gonna say.
So you know what's funny? It's funny you say that because people mix that up. Visually, I don't think I've been flat once. At least not to everybody else. In Compton's eyes, maybe, but to everybody else, no. But physically, I've been flat the entire prep. I haven't been full once. I've been completely empty. But looking at it, you'd be like, oh, this guy's full, right? So that's the difference. You're not getting in shape if you were full, right? So you have to be flat. But like, yeah, physically, you touch yourself, you lift weights. There's nothing there. But but to the eye, I don't think I've been flat once.
What I kind of noticed at the end is like, I call it like a drug pump almost. Like when you're at the end of a prep, right, and you're real flat, and maybe you're taking some orals before you train or something like that, and you get blood. Yeah, you get that like blood flow to your muscle, but it doesn't stick around very long. You know, it's just because you took some Halo before you trained or something, and then it's just gone. And it looks like a pump, but you could tell it's just like, oh, this ain't real. I call it a drug pump.
It's kind of weird because I go to the gym not expecting a pump at this point, but then I'm like, oh, I feel that it's like a tightness. Like I had it in my hamstring, it was super tight. I'm like, it's tight, but what is even there? It's not glycogen. It's not.
I think you're feeling like when I'm doing curls or something, especially like I'll feel like the bicep vein that's like moving around under the skin, and it's like when you're lean enough, it can actually move. And like you can feel it, but it doesn't mean you're like have like a glycogenated pump, I guess. But But one other thing I wanted to say, just because people are gonna say shit. The reason I'm holding water is I don't really know what, but my kidneys are fine. Before everybody jumps down my throat, I got my blood work done a few weeks ago, and my kidney numbers were great. My GFR was great. Usually my BUN and my creatinine are a little high just because I eat a shitload of protein. And, those are also metabolites of like muscle breakdown and shit. But even those were in range. So it's not my kidneys. I'm taking my astragalus.
Dude, I saw your blood work for how long you've been in prep. It's pretty ridiculous. I gotta say it's pretty ridiculous.
My HDL's fucked off. My HDL is always shit, but like I take medications for my cholesterol to control my LDL and total cholesterol. Triglycerides have always been good, but LDL was always high. Like that was my problem area. So I take 10 mgs of ezetimibe and 10 mgs of a statin. What's it called? Atorvastatin, which is Lipitor, and that just keeps my shit in range all the time, which is nice.
Genetics, bro. It's like literally. Because there's different tests I get. There's like a basic one, and there's a more advanced one. The more advanced one, it has the HDL and LDL. I got to be honest. I check the HDL, LDL maybe once a year. The shit don't budge. Doesn't budge whatsoever.
Does it stay above 40? Like high?
I don't even know the reference numbers because I don't have to check it. It just stays in reference range.
Yeah, so mine's always pretty low. It's like 15 to 20 or something like that. But this sounds like rationalization, but I actually talked to my cardiologist about this a little while ago, and I was like, "Hey, I use drugs. This is the deal, right? Do I need to worry about this number? Because there's a lot of studies that show HDL does not actually correlate with long-term heart health outcomes like heart attack, stroke, all this shit, right?" And he said, "Yeah, basically what you need to do is control your LDL." Triglycerides, and that's if you do a good job of that, you're gonna prevent plaque buildup, because that's what you're trying to avoid with controlling your cholesterol. When it starts to build up in your arteries and they get calcified, they narrow, that, and you could potentially get a blockage. That's what you're trying to avoid.
But do you guys actually see a cardiologist?
I did. It's been probably a year. But I got like an echo done a couple of times, and it looks like an athlete's heart basically. So
if you're relatively young, man, you don't have to worry about no plaque buildup. That's usually older guys, but it doesn't mean you can't have a weak overgrown heart with a low ejection fraction, right?
Yeah. But that's the importance of blood work, though, right? It's a trend, right?
Blood work is not going to show that.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying in general is the whole health assessment. So he has a baseline. The next time he does that, he has a reference range versus just not knowing at all, right?
Yeah, and to that point,
I
got one done. Fuck, it was in like 21 or 2020 or something. And I got one done like 2 years later, and the results were basically the same. And I put on like 30 pounds of muscle in that time frame. So what that tells me at least is like my heart was my ejection fraction was good, and my heart was probably a little enlarged from being an athlete as a kid, and it's probably a little more enlarged now just to pump blood through my body, but it's not concerning. If your ejection fraction starts getting down there, though, like under 50, that's not good. And you need to do something to address that.
So basically, my point is that you could get all the blood work in the world you want to. It doesn't mean you're not going to die of a heart attack tomorrow, unless you're actually checking your heart out, some kind of stress test, whether it's a nuclear stress test or whatever the fuck you want to do. You don't know what's going on besides blockages. Blockages are the least of your worries as a bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean you have to be a health nut and be living at the hospital, but just shit like Stu said, he checked again, same thing. Chances is if it comes back the same a few times, you good for a while, circle back around it. But I feel like we're at a place where a lot of people do get blood work, which is great, like Ken said, because a lot more people are getting blood work, but that's not the end all be all, especially us bigger guys. The average juice head, they're not, but if we're talking about we pushing 280, 290, you better keep track of that heart. You know what I'm saying? Close eye.
It's not just cholesterol and stuff at that point. It's just like load on your circulatory system,
The weight, just the weight alone.
I think a lot, eating good food, because typically the people who have heart problems are eating, not only are they overweight, but they're also eating bullshit all day, right? And that's one of the reasons why their cholesterol sucks. But it's also a reason why they're like chronically inflamed, just all over their body, their everything, right? And we don't, like, we do a lot of stuff to cause inflammation, like training and taking gear and all this stuff, right? But we at least have like the food stuff under control. Yeah, we eat a lot of carbohydrates in the off season, which is pro-inflammatory, but it's better than eating like a bunch of Cheetos, or like pizza. Most likely, at least. I don't know if you can find a study to answer that, but
no, when I pushed the 300 pounds, I've told everybody how like that last push, I had to throw in a bunch of shit, and that's honestly when I felt the worst. Like when I eat a lot of clean food, I don't feel bad like that. I felt fucking terrible once you start getting the high sodium, high fatty, like super high saturated fat foods, like terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's so good, so tasty. Hey, you guys know Costco's pizzas?
I love Costco pizza,
dude. I'm gonna crush one of those, dude. You gotta get. Oh, it's so
good.
Wait,
you never had it?
It's $12 for like an extra large pizza.
We talking about.
Do you like the Supreme? Do you like the Supreme?
These guys don't know pizza, man. Jesus Christ.
No.
Costco?
Okay, yeah, hold on.
What?
Let me be clear. I'm talking about cheap options, right?
You never had it? Holy shit! God forbid you didn't have.
No, we're not. We're not telling you, hey, this is the world's best pizza. It just tastes good for what it is.
To me and Ken, probably not so much to me and Ken.
Dude.
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah,
that restaurant doesn't have an Italian name. I don't want the pizza, bro. No.
I don't even want to look at it. We fucking bougie. When it comes to pizza, we bougie out here, bro.
I like New York, New Jersey style pizza. That's my favorite. But the best joint around here for that shit, it's like, no joke, it's like $40 for pizza. It's a big pizza, but like, fuck off with that. Like, you can get a large Costco pizza for $12. Cheese, pepperoni, Costco, or Supreme.
I'm with you, Stu. I'll eat any kind of pizza, bro.
Thank you, Jordan. You come in and
you Papa John's, give me Pizza Hut, cheese in the crust, bro. I'll eat all that
stuff. Costco is one of those pizzas you know it's good because it tastes good cold, too. Like, you're not going to. It's so fucking good. That's how you know the pizza's good, bro.
You're not going to sell me and Ken by telling us the shit is $12. Like that. If anything, that's going to make us more nervous. Like, what the fuck? Why the fuck is this shit $12?
It's a great value proposition,
bro. Quality. It's quality $12.
Yeah. For $12, it's pretty damn good. So
Next time you guys are all in the New York area, I'm gonna take you guys out for some pizza. I'm gonna change your.
As long as you're paying, bro, whatever.
I'll pay.
Oh.
I'll pay, man. I'll pay. Yeah.
Right by that Marriott Teaneck, they got the Victor's Pizza.
Yeah.
If you taste that Victor's Pizza, you ain't eating no Costco's pizza after that. I'll tell you that right now.
Victor's.
I'll pay any kind of money for good food, bro.
Is it like a hole in the wall place?
100% a hole in the wall.
Run by like an Egyptian guy now.
Oh, it's supposed to be an Italian guy.
I know, but
Italian.
The guy, I went to a pizzeria. I forget if it was Victor's or not, but right after New York, and it was some hole in the wall in New Jersey, and it had some Italian guy's name on the front of it. But it's some Egyptian dude that's like running the place because he bought it from him. And he was like, we walked in, we're all jacked and tan and shit. And he's like, "Do you know who Big Rammy is?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course we know who Big Rammy is."
That's
Dude, he's like a super celebrity over there. So he knew one guy at least.
Hey, the more of a hole in the wall it is, the greasier that brown paper bag is. Ooh, you got yourself a pizza now.
You know those places in New York, those pizza places that they don't even have sitting in there. You can't even sit in there. You have to just get the pizza for takeout. Those are the best.
And get the fuck out.
Bro, any restaurant you go into where there's a bunch of like old time pictures all over the wall and some sort of fucking shit hanging everywhere, like, oh, this is gonna be Bobby's butt.
Yo, they like this pizza is so bomb. If we gave you our seats to sit in, this shit would be jam packed. We can't even do that to the place. We gotta keep it moving. Get your pizza and bounce. If you standing at the fucking bus stop eating pizza and shit, like that's the spot.
I've never even been in New York City, bro. I haven't had New York pizza.
That's my goal.
Jordan, that's why you're on this Costco thing, man. Don't worry. When you come over. Yeah,
I actually haven't had Costco pizza before either. I just
no shit.
I would. It smells nice when I
grew up in a box.
Jordan don't eat cheat meals. He just eats a bunch of Flavor Gang meals and cream of rice and
pancakes. Bro. No, he was on creamies.
The budget.
I will go hard on a cheat meal in the off season.
Jordan is rich.
The amount of fucking Flavor Gang crap in his household is insane. It's insane.
I will admit, bro, that shit is so good, bro. You don't even feel like you died, and that's just good as fuck. I
got hooked last prep in Texas Pro Prep. Though was when I tried it the first time, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not good."
What's more addictive, Flavor Gang or Kratom?
Flavor Gang, Flavor Gang for sure.
But like you don't even need a lot, bro. Like a tiny bit, serving. Tiny bit is good. I don't know, but
Jordan,
I'm rocking with it.
You gave me these like one of these like what are they called, the Super K bottles?
And I told you to be real careful,
dude. I've probably taken like 5 doses from this thing, and it's still 75% full.
Yeah,
like shit is there's like 500 milligrams of extract in here.
Oh wait, what?
Extremely strong. I haven't even used one of those before.
Yeah, I just like dump a little bit in my pre-workout shake, and it makes the whole thing taste like Kratom, which is annoying.
2 drips, bro. 2 drips.
It's so strong.
That's all you
need. There's guys on the Mid 45 team that knock back like whole bottles of this shit.
Jesus,
like the strong stuff, and like
Elias hurt his rib when he first moved here to Texas, and I gave him some of that to try. I was like, do not go too hard with this, bro. He tried half of one. We were watching the Super Bowl, and we had pizza that night. We had Jets pizza. Speaking of pizza, and then I think his stomach was just so full, he had half of it, and then he took the other half. He's like, I feel amazing. Didn't get sick. Next morning, he's headed to the chiropractor. Like right after breakfast, he slammed another one, threw up all over the side of the car.
Yeah, I remember that story. Was it one of these?
Bro, you can't go from 0 to 500 milligrams. Like,
so he just took one of these.
Yes, the entire one.
Oh my God, Elias.
Hey,
and then drove to Dallas.
I'm not gonna lie, man. My food is pretty low to the point that I try to make myself a little bit nauseous. I try to drink enough to make myself just a little bit. Like, you don't want to be miserable nauseous because then you're just fucked up for the whole day. But I try to, not nauseous, but that feeling right before you get nauseous, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to eat. Let's put it like that. You ain't gonna eat nothing.
Yeah, back when I was younger, and I was at my job. It was like a 10-hour shift. This is before I was like a bodybuilder.
Mhm.
One of my first stops of the day would be at Starbucks, and I would get this giant frappuccino. And I'm lactose intolerant, so that shit would like fucking fuck me up all day. But I wouldn't feel hunger when I was doing my job until I got home. So that would help me do my job.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah,
I was about to say that's probably the worst way to do it. No, nah.
it
Beatty,
worked.
how much are you eating right now, Beatty? Like 0 carbs?
Trade. I would say 40 grams of rice. So about 20. What is that? Or 4 ounces. No, I'm sorry, 4 ounces of rice. That's like 30, a little under 30 grams.
40 grams of rice. I was like, why even having fucking rice?
Yeah, you may as well just
fucking
I don't know ounces, bro. I can only figure out grams. I don't know ounces.
It's like 28 carbs. 28 carbs for the day. 28 carbs for the day.
So somebody asked me why I do my protein in ounces and then my carbs in grams. I'm like, shut the fuck up. It works for me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That makes a little more sense, dude.
Right? It makes sense to me.
Carbs in ounces doesn't make sense at all. Carbs in ounces is annoying.
Yeah.
I was doing that until Stu said something. Then because I'm in prep, I kept thinking about it. Then it made me like, I got fixated on it, and I was like, "Hey, Compton, can you just change the protein to ounce to grams?" I don't know. They got in prep. You get weird to the point that I don't even want to put my house shoes on. I'll get up. I'm like, that's too much energy. I'm gonna just walk barefoot. So then now, so I don't want to change it to. You don't want to add anything extra. I'm like, I already brushed my teeth today. Should I brush it again?
I know.
I'll just wait till I'm about to shower or something. Just
one of the worst parts of my morning is when I have to put my socks and shoes on to take my dog out. I dread it. Just to have to stretch my hamstrings and get down there. I'm like, my legs are gonna tear in half. Somebody said something in a comment that annoyed me, but in some weird way, he has a point, but not in the way he thinks. He was like, "Do you think bodybuilders make themselves more miserable in prep than they have to?" And I think the way he was saying it, like almost like we're faking it, that obviously is not true. Mm-mm. But in some
people
ways,
do that. Some people definitely do that. Yeah,
they embellish. Yep.
Well, it's usually the ones that aren't actually in shape.
Yeah,
that's kind of lame.
They're usually like local competitors that act really hardcore and they suck cock at competing, and they suck. Yep.
Do you think me and Ken have the energy to be doing HIIT cardio with a hoodie on and going like this? Oh man, sweating, man, this is rough. On the story every day. Oh, this is rough, but you got to just dig deep. We don't fucking want to talk because we're fucking miserable,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like putting it on. Or I see some of the people filming videos and yelling and shit. I don't got the energy to yell. There's no yelling in my working out. Okay.
Bro, once you hit that point in prep, bro, my Instagram, dude, it's dead. Like I may post a story here or there, but dude, I'm basically just trying to get through the day, bro.
I feel so bad for like the sponsors and shit. I'm like, I want to listen. I'm still using these products, right? I'm still using these products. I just to post it brings me anxiety, bro. I don't want to post anything. I just want to be left alone.
Fuck. Jordan and Robin are fucking rock stars, bro.
I'm trying my
Jordan
best.
makes me feel very insecure with how bad I am, like with content stuff. Every time I'm around him, and I think that's going to be good for me when I move down there because I'm actually going to get my ass in gear and like.
Dude, it's not something I want to do. It's something that I just see as like, okay, if I'm not doing it, I'm missing my mark because 100%. Of the way things are. But every day I talk to Brandon in the gym, I'm like, bro, why can't we be in the 90s and early 2000s? Like, I don't want to do this at all. And I hate the way I feel doing it. I appreciate it.
He's doing a great fucking job.
You're doing a great job. Like I'm trying to Like I see like
better.
your content and now I'm trying to like improve. You know what I mean? I've been working hard on mine recently, but you're kind of one of the people in our generation right now that are doing a really great job at that. So
I'm
you may
trying
feel
to
a certain way,
manage
but
everything.
you're doing great, dude. You're
I
doing great.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I know how he's doing it. You just can't stop. You'll hit a point where you're like, fuck this, no more. You just have to do it anyways to the point it becomes like your cardio and you get
Yeah.
fixated
Like
on
ab training.
Exactly. So watching Jordan do it, I can tell because I was there for a couple of weeks where I was in automatic. I didn't care how shitty I felt. The camera goes up, I'm gonna film no matter what. I made it a priority. And if you just keep it part of your routine, you can do it even if you come off like tired and shit. But I just said, fuck this, man. I can't use the energy. You know, but if you don't, you might be able to get through it. I think that's what Jordan is doing. He just running on fumes. Just the camera's gonna go up. This video is going up no matter what, right?
It's the only time to capitalize because nobody cares when you're in off season.
No one
Nobody
It's
gives
the
a fuck.
only time, and it only ramps up those last several weeks, and then you're on a downhill trajectory after that once the season's over. So it's
I
like
saw.
you have to.
Yeah, I definitely saw the support when I was posting it. So at very least, I'm gonna have somebody in there filming, and maybe I'll post them after the show, just because
that's
I
the
can't
best
deal.
way, bro. Like for me, you know, I feel like I'm the latest to this game out of all of you guys for like trying to push content. And I felt like that what has been working for me recently is at least having a dedicated video guy, you know, that can just shoot the stuff. I don't have to pay attention, whatnot, at least once a month. At least he's getting like the main stuff, you know, and then you can fill out the other things, you know, during the week with other things from there. That's what's worked for me so far.
That camera guy that me and Paul picked up,
Yeah.
we're good friends with him now, you know, and we have something set with him where it's one video a week. And then, but within the video, he'll create little clips and little pictures and snippets and stuff that we can put on our Instagram. And it's really helped a lot. Like when I look at my page as a bodybuilder, outside of just showing your physique changing, like with the little tiny bits that it changes at this point, like having those little clips and stuff, it makes you look so much more like professional, or like it draws way more people to you outside of just a regular ass dude that goes to the gym.
That's why I said Jordan. That's why I said Jordan, right? Like because we are brands as bodybuilders, right? So like your page is a representation of your brand. Right. So it has to look somewhat clean and professional in some regard, you know. And that's what I try to do with mine at this point. But I think Jordan, like I said, you're doing a phenomenal job at that.
Well, I've noticed yours lately, Candy. Like yours is looking really good.
Yeah, I'm trying, bro.
I can tell it looks good, bro.
Yeah. Hey, bro, you don't need a million followers, man. I think people got it all wrong. Like you just need like a loyal
interaction. Like, the interaction with your page, yeah. Like I used to look at even more than likes. Like something I told Paul was like, "Hey, look at how many comments this shit got," and then I'll also reply to those people, and it's almost consistent. So because those are real people commenting on your shit, that's going to stand out more than fucking 100,000 that you get like 3 comments or a bunch of fake shit.
And then DMs too. Like a lot of pros don't answer DMs, and you know, I'm never going to be a guy where I'm like, oh, I'm too busy for people DMing me, because I feel blessed to be someone that these kids look up to and want to talk to. So like, I try to answer as many as I possibly can. And I think it means a lot to them. And that's what creates like people that really support you, is when you treat them like, you know, an equal, and like,
you don't see yourself above them. Like you treat everybody the same.
I did some, honestly, it was the right thing to do, but like it was kind of mean. So this dude messaged me. He was like, "Hey, dude, you're a big inspiration. I'm 5 weeks out from my first show." And I was like, I opened his message and I was like, "What you look like?" He sent me his pictures. And I was like, 5 weeks? He's like, "Yeah, 5 weeks." I was like, "Do you want me to be honest?" Like, he's like, yeah, you got to be honest with me. It's like, this is what you should look like at the start of prep.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's going to do, but like, I don't
think that's mean. I personally don't think that's mean.
I mean, he wasn't going to be even close to in shape. You know, he didn't even have abs yet in his front shots.
If you
Even
lie to
I've done
him,
that,
what does that
Stu.
do?
Even I've done that.
Well,
And
if he,
there was a guy at our gym. I told him the same thing. I was like, dude, because he was like 4 weeks out from a show. I was like, you're not even 8 weeks out. Like, you're not like.
That's why I was sure to ask him. Like, you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
You know.
and the thing is, Stu, obviously, if he's messaging you, he follows bodybuilding because to a degree, right? So the thing is, especially when you're first starting out, you don't have the true assessment of yourself in terms of what you really look like and how much fat you actually have to lose. So
you have no idea. Like,
you have no
point
idea.
of context.
Yeah. So it's good that you did that, Brian, and tell him, oh, you look great, and he shows up and he.
Yeah, you do no one service in this sport by sugarcoating anything.
But there's a
exactly.
lot of guys
he had a
that
decent physique. Like, he could be on stage if he lost a lot more fat. You know, he had like some shape and some decent muscle on him. You know, it was just like it's not there yet.
The first thing I ask is, are you competing just to compete, or are you competing to win? Because that's what's going to give you your answer that I'm going to give.
Well, that's what he said. He was like, when I told him that, he was like, even for my first show, and I was like, are you supposed to be fat at your first show?
What does that mean? What
the fuck does that
mean? So not everyone's peeled at their first show. That's pretty uncommon, but you can't get in your head and make excuses like that. I've done it before. I did it before my first show.
You try to be peeled. You try to be as peeled as possible, but it doesn't happen. But you don't just. If someone tells you you're not peeled, you don't just use that as a placeholder. Like, oh, it's my first show. You know,
it takes time to like get in shape, like in true condition. You probably won't really do it until you're like 30, except for some exceptions, because you just have to get in shape over and over and over again. Each time a little bit leaner, a little bit better, right? It's like, no, you're not going to look like Branch Warren peeled at your first show, but like,
yeah, but it's like, why go into it with that mindset? I've had guys do it. I literally had a girl get her pro card her first shot, right? It's like, why would you even let that creep into your brain? One of my clients is his first show. We started a little bit late. He was a bit behind, and everybody at the gym kept telling him, oh, you're not gonna have shredded glutes your first show. You're not gonna have shredded glutes your first show. And he started, like, I feel like he started to believe it. I'm like, why are these people telling you that? Like, what type of dumb shit is that? What type of dumb advice is that? So don't even try. And then, of course, he has shredded glutes, and he was in pro level fucking condition. Like, I don't like this limited mindset bullshit. Like, I don't give a fuck what everybody else has done. Or Beatty without a shape in his first show. That's fucking Beatty. Okay.
Yeah, but
you don't have to follow his footsteps.
Like, I think the biggest thing here is like they don't even know they're not in shape, right? It's like because they've never been to a bodybuilding show before. They don't know what true conditioning looks like. They see a quad stride. I remember in my first prep, I was like, my quads are striated. That's never happened before. I'm shredded. I was like, it was like pretty lean, right? But like, it wasn't shredded. And I just didn't know. So I guess I did him a favor by letting him know. But
you did him a hell of a favor.
I feel kind of bad about it, but whatever.
There's nothing. You should never feel bad about giving somebody advice from a good place.
Yeah,
but want to be successful.
Also, like, you know, if somebody tells you that, I don't know if this dude's listening, but you know, if someone tells you that, guess what? There's a bajillion NPC shows all fucking year. Most of them suck, so you'll probably show up and be the only guy in your class. But you know, you should, you know, if you're behind, then pick a later show. There's always more of them.
The thing is, too, don't just be searching for positive feedback, because something I experience a lot in DMs is people actually fishing for compliments from a pro, where they're sending you their update pictures and they just want you to tell them how good they look. And they're probably getting told that by all the local guys at their gym, how good they look and everything. And sometimes they need that wake up call of like a honest, tough love opinion that'll help them be better.
Jordan's not the guy to do that, though. Jordan's too nice. I don't get those messages because of my personality.
Yeah,
people
probably know you roast them.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like I
wouldn't roast them all the way.
I've literally watched me and Paul tell somebody the same exact thing in a different manner, and they'll get offended by Paul and then be completely okay with what I just told them. So depending on how you deliver the same message, it matters.
That is true.
Yeah, Jordan's like really nice. He's got a little bit of bite to him right now, though, which is fun.
Just a little,
like
but
spicy
yeah, I'm
Jordan.
generally too nice.
Little jalapeno on his pizza.
Bro, look at how much food Brett is eating. You son of a bitch.
I know.
Look at all that.
What is that?
Where do you get off?
Rice or mashed
That's
potatoes?
more carbs than Beatty's had in a week. Okay?
It's not even a week.
You could feed an African child for a month. His name's Beatty.
Hey, you know,
I've never.
now that Brett's on, I was going to say, Brett's one of those people that I was truthful to him. After he placed fourth at USA's, I told him never to come in as a heavyweight again because it's his back. So to bring up your back, if you're barely making weight cap, like go to super heavies. Then you'll get your pro card for sure because you can improve.
Yeah.
That's something I told Brett because I care.
To be honest,
Love you, Brett.
Thank you. Love you.
I feel like
I love you.
I feel like he could have got it as a heavyweight eventually, but why? Because he would be bringing a physique that's not his best and hoping that there's nobody better than him, right?
But then he's also prolonging how good he'll do as a pro.
Exactly. Why? It's like it's almost like why? Just let things run its course, right? Like the heavyweight is not easier than the super is by no means, right? So it's not like you're having a better
Really a
shot
thicker
per se.
class.
Heavyweight is stacked, bro. Heavyweight is always a stacked class.
That's what I'm saying.
Heavies and
the
light
hardest.
heavies. Usually there's not as many in the super.
That's the toughest class, heavyweight and light heavy.
Yeah. But he did do it the right way because he knew that the condition that he wanted to be, he was going to be very close to the heavy. So that made sense. Now to continue doing it now would be going backwards. But I think to this point, I think last year it made sense, right? Would you agree with that, Brett?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know, like that's what I was saying. So after I saw his look last year, being so close to cap, that condition, that's when I told him what I told him.
Yeah.
I woke up at 225 that morning.
Oh, he's
like
really
225 flat.
Mm-hmm.
How tall are you exactly?
5'10.1.
See, but the way
that point one.
but the way
have you and I met before? You did USA's when I did, right? Or were you like the year after?
In 21?
Okay. Yeah, I did 20. Yeah.
Hey,
I just saw I hadn't talked to you before, like
No.
on a podcast or something. So what's up, dude?
How you doing?
Good, man.
it's like Brett always been there, but I guess he's like quiet because I'm like, hey, Brett's been in the game this whole time, right? And like, it's like we all kind of knew him, but we never like, hey, what's up, Brett? It's weird. It's like he kind of just been kind of behind the scenes, always just a really good bodybuilder. But I didn't even know he's been competing. He's been competing since a teenager.
Yeah, since I was 19.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's good. That's great. I saw a picture with you and Coley. I was like, wait, because Coley been competing since he was like 11.
Yeah. Jason, I love Jason, but he actually talked shit to me at our first show. At my first show.
That sounds like Jason.
Yeah. He was like, where are your legs? And I was wearing like sweats. I'm like, they're in there somewhere.
Oh, shit. Wait, Brett got legs, though. Oh, back then you didn't have big legs?
I think legs were, at that point in time, my legs were probably my strongest body part for my age, at least.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
As a teenager, I can't imagine competing as a teenager. Like, as a teen, bro, like, I'm not trying to fucking bodybuild. What the fuck? I'm a teenager. I'm trying to fucking do what teenagers do.
I did not have that kind of discipline at that age.
Boy, not even remote.
I was eating those fucking big ass Uncrustables and hoping they were kind of frozen when I got them.
Man, I couldn't. There was zero chance I could have been in that mindset at 19. Man, it wasn't happening. But I definitely respect it. I feel like, but those kind of people are kind of made for the sport because I feel like you guys honestly enjoy the whole process.
Were you guys any of you guys like party people for any period of time?
Very briefly.
Yeah, it was super brief for me before I was 21.
When you
I
say
was 20 to
party
23.
people, are you talking about like you go and drink on the weekends,
That was
or
me.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
serious
every
drugs?
weekend.
Freshman year of
I like
college,
a hybrid.
that was it for me.
A
Yeah.
hybrid.
Hybrid. Yeah,
So for sure there was always alcohol every weekend, and then some other things could trickle through every now and then, but mostly alcohol and just drinking every weekend, like
Yeah,
binge
I-
drinking every
maybe
weekend.
like
I
once.
would like drink
Ah.
3 nights a week, my first term of college, and then I was like, I kept on like hurting myself, and like I was being an asshole to my friends. I was like, dude, I gotta stop. So I just stopped completely, and then I got into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. I mean, towards
Same
the end, I
exact
started
thing.
being the asshole. I started being the asshole. Like, this ain't for me, and I shifted into
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
It wasn't hard to stop though, right? For some reason, I didn't find it hard to stop.
It was
I
literally
kinda
from one
wanted
day
to
to the
stop.
next. Yeah,
I
I got
kinda-
over it.
I was over it. Yeah, I kind of wanted
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After like the
I
first
asked this
first
question
first 2
because-
semesters, I was like, I'm done with it. Yep.
What sealed the deal for me was bouncing, because I got to see all the people that I used to party with in years
Yeah.
past just be absolute jackasses at the bar. You know, and I
Stu,
was like,
it was always Stu, it was exactly the same people, right? Like when you were in
Yeah.
college, it was
Yeah.
the
Same
exact
crowd.
same people.
Every
Same
single
crowd.
weekend.
I know exactly what you mean.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday at
Yeah.
the fucking shitty bar in Corvallis, Oregon. Oh my god.
It's always the best when you see that one dude chilling on the side, kind of quiet with his drink. He's kind of like swaying. His eyes are all half shut and shit. And they'll just randomly laugh like,
yeah.
I
That
was
was
like, I know I was that guy at some point.
at the time. I would have never called it like binge drinking, but in hindsight, I guess what else would you call it? I mean, that's
It is binge
part of
drinking,
it.
you know, like casual
Yeah.
drinking is like maybe what, 2 or 3. Binge drinking is when you're getting your purpose is to get fucked up. So
Yeah.
that's binge drinking. So
Like at this point in my life, on like a birthday, I might take a shot, or I don't know, Christmas, I might drink whatever people are drinking, but like literally like a couple of sips that night. So we're talking about in a year, I average like 2 or 3 shots for the entire year, if that. That's like maximum.
Yeah,
That
it's
to
weird
me-
drinking at this age, because it's like in college, fucking everybody's doing it, you know, and everybody's fucked up, and it's like normal. If you go to a family gathering, you get hammered, you're an asshole. Or even if you go out to party and you're like 30 or something, no offense to 30-year-olds, but like, yeah, you just kind of look immature, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stu, it also depends on our crowd, right? Because I still have friends from college that I hang around from time to time with, and dude, there are still some 30-year-old crowds, you know, that are
Yeah,
like that.
bro.
Yeah, and
Like,
you look at
there's a
them and
lot
you're
of
like,
them.
what are you doing?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
They're
So, see,
usually
the reason
kind of stagnant in life.
I brought it up because you guys said the team bodybuilding, right? And I'm just like, honestly, the shit, like I needed to do all that shit to get out of my system if I was gonna be
100%.
able to do this. Like if I didn't do any of that early, ain't no way I'd last. Because I'd be like seeing my friends living it up or going out and stuff. Like, fuck, I missed out on all that. Never had to feel that. Like it was super important to live those years for me.
I tell
Let's be
myself
real.
every prep, like at the end, I'm gonna go party or something right after the show.
Yeah, but
Like,
Well, you
Yeah,
partied
it's
for your
crazy.
last birthday, right? You went hard for your last birthday.
Me?
Didn't you remember? Yeah, because remember on the next
Oh,
day
I
you're
went-
on the
I went-
podcast. I was
I
like,
went to a New
hungover,
Year's
guys.
show.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was fun, and that's like a once a year thing, right?
So I
But-
did that for Halloween. I did the same thing. Like
Yeah.
we got off, like I just became fucking Mr. USA. I finished my rebound portion. Paul's throwing a Halloween party. I was like, I haven't been fucked up in quite some time. I'm gonna live it up. I deserve this. It was good.
Yeah.
Good times.
No, what Stu was saying after the show, that happens every time. Like this time watch, I'm gonna go watch every movie every weekend. I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna be different now. We're going to I'm gonna go to Costa Rica with my girl, and then after you get to the rebound, you're eating all this food, and you're kind of like, I'm kind of cool just
Fuck all
sitting at
that.
home
Wanna be
watching
a homebody, so.
Just
Netflix.
wanted what you don't
100%.
have.
Watch TV.
Yeah,
Order
Netflix. Watch
DoorDash.
some. Bro, it happens every time.
I do
Or, like-
wholesome shit now. I went to Disneyland after my show this year.
I like that. You know, in the past, honestly, by the end of prep, because I didn't understand my body, right? So it was kind of like, this is stupid. Like, who? Nobody has to do this to get in shape. Why the fuck am I doing this? This is dumb. I'll be after every show. I'm like, this is my last show. This is my last show. I'm not doing this shit again, right? Until last year. Last year, I'm like, okay, I get it. This is difficult, but this is just what needs to be done for my body. I'm at peace with it now, right? So, but before every single show, this is my last show. I'm not doing this again. I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna get the powerlifting or something. I'm gonna just be the big guy at the gym that works out.
Hey, this is I don't know why it just stuck out to me because you both are on here. Like, you guys realize you're both front runners to be a Mr. USA. Both of you. Doesn't that excite you? Aren't you like fucking like amped up? I mean, shit. Me and Brett were supposed to go against each other, but I ended up being the super heavy. And I remember that workout. Me and him did a workout together. We filmed it, and that shit was fucking intense. Like, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm about to go against this guy. I was like, you know, but we both are going after, like, we both were, you know, in our heads, like, gonna go against her to win that title. So it's exciting as shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's hard to hold that excitement because you're trying to make it through the day, right? So like,
but doesn't that drive you though? It's like, fuck, man, I just make it there. I'm gonna fucking win. Like in your head, like
I don't look at it. I don't know if I look at it that way. Like for me, like once we started prep in my head, I already had it. Me and Brett 1 and 2. That was automatically in my head.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but as prep goes on, I never look at it like I deserve something or something is mine for the taking. I just look at it one day at a time. That's the only way my brain could really get it because the days are rough. So it's just like, let me make it to the next day. I'm confident that if I follow what Compton says, I'll be my best. And that's as far as I think, you know what I'm saying? As far as me and Brett, it excited me like to start. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, Brett, yo, he's super cool. Yeah, we should get workouts in. And then you start to fade, right? Me and Brett I'm kind of tired. I don't know if I could go link up and work out, but that's something. That's something we kind of planned. We wanted to get workouts and shit, and then it's just like life gets real on both ends.
It really
like,
does, yeah.
And then he's just like,
know,
oh no.
You also don't want to be disappointed, right? Like going into North Americans, I knew I was one of the front runners for the show, but it's like, at the same time, you don't know who shows up, man. You know, you could just be there and some random guy that hasn't used Instagram in 3 years just shows up out of nowhere, right? And he's a beast. Yeah. So I just kept my expectations kind of lowered. It's like, yeah, you're in the runnings, but if it doesn't happen, you know, you did your best. So for me, I feel like it's a lot harder to take if I lose and I was expecting to win than if I come in knowing that I did everything I could, but the decision is kind of out of my hands. That's kind of how I kind of control myself. Because after nationals, I told myself after that I never want to feel that way again on a bodybuilding stage. Like I just never want to feel that way ever again.
What way?
I think that's when I came 8th at nationals, my first nationals, and
that was me last year.
Yeah, you're kind of standing there, you know, watching first call outs, and you're kind of sitting there like this, you know. I'm like, I don't want to feel like this ever again in my life, you know. So you just tamper your expectations, and I think it helps. You know, you give your best, and you kind of have that underdog mentality. Like, I just have to keep going, and if it happens on that day by prejudging, you're gonna know, you know, if you're gonna win or not. So
yeah, I was really let down as soon as they called me for 4th. I was like.
Yeah, like that.
Heartbroken.
Yeah. I feel like I guess I don't when it comes to this in particular, I don't think as deep as y'all do. I'm honestly just trying to make it to the next day. That's as far as I can think. My brain can't process any further. I don't have the brain capacity. So everything is the next day. By the time I'm like one day out, I'm just thinking the next meal. I don't have the data to even think about all these things. Like, oh, what if this, and what if somebody shows up, and what if there's no room for my brain that I even keep. I'm literally just there trying to survive the day. I'm like, fuck, I have to do this cardio. Okay, let me do it. I have to train this client, and that's just as far as I can think. You know, a little, like I said, a little further
Trying
out.
to make money.
Exactly, yeah. A little
That
further
kind of
out.
helps it go faster too. Honestly, bro, I'm kind of the same way.
One step at a time, yeah. I'm not like when people ask me, "Do you know who's doing the show?" I'm like, "Is this what people think of?" Like, did none of this has ever crossed my mind? I don't know who the fuck is doing the show. I know Brett is doing it because he's my teammate, but I don't fucking know who's doing the show. Like that don't
Bringing
even
your
cross my
best,
mind.
bro.
So I bring it up because knowing you're the front runner, it's almost like for me, it's a driving factor. Like, you can go hard, right? But when you got it to win, like you push a little hard. It helps me get through the days each day, kind of thing. So it's definitely a motivating factor when you're in the running. Like, oh man, I can fucking take this shit. So
I used to be one of those people where I'd care who was showing up, and I'd be like, oh shoot, like this so and so's showing up, so and so's showing up. Like, could I beat this guy? Could I beat that guy? But then it got to a point where it just like it
Doesn't matter.
consumes you, and then you're sitting on social media the entire time, and you just gotta. Now in the past few years,
anyways.
Yeah.
I would never, like, for me, whenever I picked a show, it was always trying to go against. So when I got brought up, I was told, hey, USA's is the show to do. Like, that's, usually it brings in, every national show does, but USA's was one that's like really well known, right? So even like I would never pick a show where I care who's in the lineup. Like, because if you can't beat the best of that lineup or whatever, then you don't belong to where I want to go. So whether like it was Jordan there, Stu there, it didn't really matter. Like if I can't beat those guys, I'm not ready to be in the Olympia kind of thing. So to me, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
To look up anybody.
It depends on. So like, there's plenty of people that are looking at it from the aspect of they just want the card, and then how many people do you know that are like, I just want my pro card and then I'm gonna retire. I hate when people say that. Just say I want my pro card and then I'm gonna quit, because you can only retire from something you make a career out of. But that's
literally.
But like, if the goal is to continue to be the best bodybuilder you could possibly be, then it doesn't matter who's going to show up or not, because, it's just a matter of like bringing your best. And if you can get even better and better and better, like we're always trying to get better every time we step on stage. But like what you were saying, if the ultimate goal is to be the best pro I can possibly be, then I hope the best of the best show up.
Yeah.
Bro, this entire thing to me is kind of like when a beginner is like, hey, what do you think? Push, pull legs, push, pull. Should I split my GA? These are all factors that I don't think fucking matter. I don't think any of it
Splitting hairs.
Yeah, I think so. To that guy, I'm like, bro, just bodybuild. Just fucking bodybuild. This is how I feel about competing. Why would I waste any energy on this guy's doing it? Who's showing up? Right. Who's the front runners? Further, just because I think I'm the front runner doesn't mean I am. Everybody
it makes it less fun.
Yeah,
less enjoyable.
But everybody thinks they're the front runners. I won't call any names, but I see people doing the USA that believe they're the front runners. Whereas
the ones that believe that are not.
Exactly my point. Like when you have to tell me, hey, bro, I'm signing up with coaching for you. Nobody trains as hard for me. I automatically know that you do not train hard.
Exactly.
Right off the bat, I know.
Have to talk about it.
Or if you say, "Oh, my diet and cycle is on my diet and training is on point," I just need cycle advice. Your diet and training are horrendous. Right away, I know that, right? So to me, thinking about all these finer detail is just extra stress for you to manage that you just don't need to manage. You're already managing stress. Just do the work. Just bodybuild. If you have the genetics, like I believe me and Brett have the genetic shape, muscle belly, stature. The rest is just doing the work. If we didn't have those things, we wouldn't be in the front running just because we don't have the genetics. You have the genetics. Now you do the work. There's no more to think of. Like I know we're both doing the work. We both have genetics, so I believe we're gonna be the front runners. But I don't think about it. I just check on him, make sure he's good. He checks on me, make sure we good. We just trying to help each other at the end of the day because the judges decide, not us. But that goes for, even though we're friends, that goes for even people we don't know. They're just doing their best and the judges are going to pick. It's out of our hands. So me going harder on cardio because I got to go against Brett makes no difference. I should be going harder cardio because I need to get in shape. It has nothing to do with Brett. It's because I need to get my fat ass in shape, right? Same way Brett is training to put on muscle. It should have nothing to do with me. He should want to put on the muscle because he wants to get bigger. That's just something that he needs to do for himself. It has, you know what I'm saying? So us versus really makes no difference. It's just us showing up. I'm going to be backstage helping him out. You're going to be backstage helping me out, and we're going to have a good time, you know? Same with Janicki. I went against you and Janicki. I wasn't very talkative because I didn't eat any food that day, but I would have loved to be chatting it up with y'all. I just didn't have it in me, you know?
My favorite little statement of all time or quote is this look with 20 pounds stage weight. I'm just like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Make this look small. I'm gonna make this look small.
Yeah,
it's just like just do it, man. Like fucking
talk about it, just do it.
Speaking of doing it, man, hey, to switch gears, hey, Jordan, I find Jordan very impressive right now.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, Jordan. When you did your guest posing, I brought it up. Like, I knew you were good, but seeing you next to Stu really gave me perspective of how much you improved since Texas.
Thank you, man.
That's badass. Like,
it's
real.
Just hard to tell with me by myself because, like,
you can see it by yourself. That's the thing.
Well, now I don't think it's very hard to see how much you've improved, Jordan. Like, I've come across your page before, especially after we compete against each other, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy has made leaps and bounds to how much he's.
So improved. It was impressive, on your own, but then seeing you next to somebody that I've competed against, I'm like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking crazy.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, if Stu can make me not look too small, then I think I'm doing okay.
But it's cool because the size you have a certain level of detail with it that I did not expect.
Yeah, that's one thing I bring it. We've been trying to bring up the roundness, the fullness, the size, because I've always had the density and the lines. It's just I needed more size, and we definitely did that this year. I'm pretty happy with it. Just gotta hold it.
So in the past, you always been that guy that you're like, okay, he looks okay. Mm-hmm. But on stage, it always comes together.
Right.
So without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that on stage you were gonna be much improved and you were gonna look insane. Now the fact that you started looking so impressive so early, that to me is the biggest difference. So that tells me, because I know you and your body, that you're gonna look twice as impressive on stage. That's what makes it scary for me, because I'm like, usually seeing you 4 weeks out versus on stage, it's night and day. So if this is how you look now on stage,
thank you, man,
I think it's going to be insane.
I mean, we're ready. I think we're ready. It's just a matter of finding our peak now. And Chris is actually my coach, Chris Tuttle. He's going to come. He's 15 minutes from me. So he's going to come camp out at my house Wednesday and Thursday of this week to literally do a mock carb up. And so we're pulling down right now to dry out. And then we're going to do a mock carb up Wednesday, Thursday, just to get our perfect peak and then mimic that for Chicago. So I got to give credit where it's due. Why I always show up even better on stage. It's because Chris peaks me very well. He's great at peaking clients.
I see. I got to get him on the show. Does he do podcasts?
You should.
Yeah, he would do it. I think he would do it. Okay.
He does a lot of podcasts for the IFBB AMA with Milos and they have a bunch of guests on and stuff. It's the group that does like Evan Sitapani and Lee Priest and all those guys.
I think I'm gonna get him on the coaching show, because on this group we're gonna just talk over him.
He does podcasts all the time. Yeah, he enjoys it.
Okay, good. So
you should do a coaching cast, Beatty, where you get like fucking Jacoby, you get Tuttle, you get Justin Compton, and then who else have we had on? Whoever else. That'd be dope for your panel. I
got a show for that I did one episode, but then Compton, he has a couple of clients competing for the past couple of weeks, so we'll probably get that started again. Depends how I'm feeling this week, but for sure after the show. So even it's Coach's Corner. It's not Compton's show. Compton is going to be a regular more than likely, but I'll have other coaches. And some episodes Compton might not be on, which is fine. But it's basically going to have coaches on it.
Yeah, that's
going to that. That'll be good, bro. I'd love to watch that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'd watch the shit out of that.
I mean, because that's something I would watch because I want to get into the X's and O's with these coaches, but on the Fit Nation podcast, I don't want to make it an X's and O's thing because that's just not something we talk about. Like, look at our group chat. When do we talk about drugs and peaking? It's not something we naturally talk about. Now, when the coaches are on and we integrate it, I'm like, y'all will just be sitting there and I'll talk to them for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I might as well have them on separate so they can talk about it for 30 minutes, right? Rather than us just being like, okay, and them talking. It's kind of weird. Like, let's keep it separate because people like this show for the banter.
Yeah, that's why I said the coaches only, because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I want to hear what they say to each other and stuff.
Exactly. And then if we have coach
of peaking, Stu's most recent client he posted, that he looked really, really good.
Oh, let's pull it up.
Yeah, you just talked about him, right? That was the guy who got in condition for the first time.
Well, that was the thing. Like, you didn't have to do much with him. It just filled him out because he was
okay.
I brought his water down a bit, brought his food up. And
this guy, he looked really good.
First of all, awesome. for anybody who doesn't know, Stu coaches clients because I don't think we talk about that too much here.
I do.
So if you want to work with Stu, where's the info? What did you say? Email him at
emails in there.
Beefs2. You were born in 97, bro. Holy fuck, baby.
Wait, how old are you, Stu? 27? You're 27?
Uh-huh.
The same age as my brother.
Damn. Okay, Beef2. My little brother's 98.
One.
How old are you, Brett?
30.
I'm 30, Brett.
I'm 31. I got you by one.
I'm the youngest person on here.
I'm 20. I'm 28.
So 27, 28, 20. Joe is 30.
Yeah, I'm 30.
30. Ken is 31. Or 30.
31. 30.
I thought Jordan was in his 30s.
Oh, look at
I thought Jordan was 30.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's
the depth to his voice, bro.
He got the voice too. Yeah. He looks older than Joe. He looks grown. I don't know. He always looked kind of grown.
I look like Jordan's little brother.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad when I'm in my late 30s. People are gonna be like, this old guy's still on the pro stage. What the hell? He's like 50 years old.
When did you start bodybuilding, Jordan?
When I started training in the gym when I was 17.
Like on your own or with a sport?
It turned into it pretty quick. So that was like 2014 when I started, and my first show was 2015. I gained muscle really fast right off the bat, and like had a bunch of people at the gym tell me like, "Oh, you need to compete. You need to compete," and I was like, "That'd be really weird. I don't know about all this bodybuilding stuff." And then I did it, and I was 19 at that point, and then so it's been almost 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. See, when I started bodybuilding, I didn't realize that I started late because I didn't realize that people compete so early. Like, it's weird. Like, people that I know, like, I usually feel like I'm like depending on who I'm around, like, I'm like the older guy, but just by a couple of years. But then most of y'all did y'all first shows, like, before me around the same time. Like, I mean, Joe started even later, but for the most part, I thought 23, I think I was my first show. I thought that was like pretty early, but then I'm like, no, but most people are,
For me, I had a foundation like way early on. I could have competed way earlier. I like to do other shit first.
Beatty, there was a shift. There was a shift earlier in the 90s, early 2000s. People competed early. But if you notice, there was a shift. People started turning pro a little bit later, like 29 to like 32, 33. Now it's starting to go back.
Yeah, you noticed that, right?
Pro. Yeah,
but pros now.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that for like the last 10 years. People were turning pro 29 to like 32. So it's just a recent thing.
And me and Ken could relate because I remember Stu said that before, and I disagreed. But then I thought about it. I'm like, I guess recently people have been, because he was like, most people are turning pro like in their mid late 20s.
Well, I was specifically talking about guys who are like
trying
top 10 Olympian kind of guys, you know.
Yeah.
With the exception of like a couple dudes like Samson, he started a little later.
Even those, but
even those,
like, it's
too,
recent.
yeah.
It's recent. Like
he's right.
Phil Heath's era and stuff, like Bonak, those guys, they turn pro like, late 20s. A lot of them turn pro like late 20s.
I think it was harder to get cards back then. I know that's a fucking shtick that all the old heads throw out, but like it was deeper.
There were less divisions. So like all these classic physique guys right now would have to be open bodybuilders to go pro in bodybuilding. So like you got to think
physique.
It is thinning out the competition 100%, just is what it is. The top of the top is still the same in my opinion, but like how many pros we have, there's way more pros because of the fact that there's so many freaking divisions now.
I think there's something you guys are also missing here too. The amateur funnel has completely blown up.
Yeah,
within the past 10, 15
because
years.
Of the popularity.
I don't know if you guys remember, there was an actual time in this sport where they were considering, where they weren't even sure if bodybuilding was going to continue. That's why the point system originally came into play, because they couldn't get enough bodybuilders to the Olympia. There just weren't a lot of guys in the circuit that were competing actively where they could have an actual competitive lineup at the Olympia. And that's why the point system came back into play. Now they've taken it back out, right? Because you can have like 30, 40 guys. I mean, Amir has been competing since New York. Stu since New York. Like, guys are competing actively. There's a lot of guys. And in the amateurs, the same thing with the new divisions. There's just so many people where it's exploded. So the optics of what we're dealing with now is completely different from 10, 15 years ago.
Well, to go back further, there was so little bodybuilders competing that's why they added the different. That's why they added mentions, because they couldn't make money. There wasn't enough entry. So it's not linear. It ebbs and flows. It's not like bodybuilding is dead, now it's back. It's like it's kind of dies, comes back, die. That's why like every couple of years it's dying, and it's like no, it's not, because there comes another research. It's not exclusive to bodybuilding. Like, in the NBA, when Iverson and Marbury, all these guys retired, who's gonna be next? And Jordan and Larry Bird, who's gonna be next? And it's Jordan, then it's Kobe, then like when the talent dies out, sometimes it takes a couple years for the new talent to come in, right? So have it been getting easier every year to get a pro card? No. There's like periods where it's like easier, a little harder, easier, a little harder. Right now in 2024 is definitely easier than it was in 2010 by far. I would agree. In bodybuilding, I would say so. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like if you look, like Ken said, look across the ages, back when Bonak turned pro, early 30s, Dexter early 30s, I don't know, Dennis Wolf late 20s.
Wait, Dexter wasn't his early 30s, was it?
Yeah, he was
like late 20s. Yeah, he was like early 30s, late 20s. Dennis James too. Dennis James turned at what, 30 something, 31, 32?
We already fact checked this one episode because I had mentioned it, and then somebody, I think Stu looked it up.
I look at him in like 99, 98 competing at the Olympia, and he's like, he looks so fresh faced and young. I assume he's 22 or something,
Relatively,
he said 28. Dexter?
When he turned pro?
Yeah.
I believe he was 31. I believe he was 31, right?
I think we fact checked this. Yeah, Dave, you did say
somebody did the math last time. But yeah, but that's one person. But just in general, and then the guys now that are turning pro earlier, you had your Nick Walker, you had your Lunsford, Hottie, I don't know, so it kind of ebbs and flows. There's times that I think the density you need now to be a top pro, you're gonna need time regardless. So even if you turn pro early, you're gonna need some time to add the tissue. Like a Martin turned pro early, but he needed a few years to really get super dense and shit like that. So.
Yeah, turning pro as a heavyweight is such a curse. Like Jordan, you turned pro as a heavyweight.
I did.
And, like,
I had
you're
to take
really
so
only
much time off.
right. You're like open pro size after like 2-3 years afterwards.
I was decent. I was decent size last year. I was
So yeah,
good
that
on
would have been
stage,
2 years afterwards,
but
right?
like more competitive now.
Yeah,
But it took, I mean, because I was barely 223 the day of USA's when I won. So like it's been 30 pounds since then.
yeah.
So it's like 10 pounds a year.
You're not going to do that overnight. It's
No. But and it took a lot of time. 2 years after you get your pro card sucks.
yeah.
Like doing a full 2 years off.
Yeah.
Jordan, Stu, how tall are you guys?
I'm just under 5'10". I'm like 5'9 3/4", unless I shrank since then.
I'm like
But
5'8" and a half.
Stu, another question I do have for you guys, like if you compare people to do term, it's usually heavyweights that typically tend to win the overall. Like the supers, it's very rare, but if a super wins the overall, that super's going to the Olympia straight up.
Right.
Yeah,
Or, like,
because
they become
the
like a
supers
really,
are
really good pro.
the supers
Yeah.
are like fat, tall guys usually.
Yeah.
And then if
Yeah.
somebody isn't, like there were some years where the supers are like good, and then you have a legit guy who goes and wins the overall, right? But
Yeah.
it's the fat, tall guy class usually.
Yeah.
Joe.
I was very adamant about getting my pro card as an overall winner because of the shit that comes behind, like, oh, it's so easy to get a pro card if you just win your class and stuff. So I wanted to do it the old school way. I was thinking about that. We were talking about getting pro cards with ease nowadays, and I wanted to be ready.
Other classes that aren't bodybuilding, you can get it for like first and second place, and I'm pretty sure aren't like junior nationals, they hand out more pro
Yeah.
cards for the other divisions too.
Yeah, literally junior nationals, you can get a second place pro card in a class of 4 for classic physique.
The women's is even worse because there's nobody competing in there, and they give top 2 cards.
Yeah.
Even when
You could have 3 competitors in a class or even 2, and just because you're second by default.
Dude, that happened last year at the USA's. There were like 2 gals in like the heavyweight bodybuilding or something, and they both got cards.
That's kind of why North Americans, honestly, I kind of do like that show, because only like I think it's the top 4 or 5 in the class get pro cards. Not everyone that wins their class gets a pro card.
That's the way it should be.
We had this guy, bantamweight, that came from Mexico. The guy was like 5'2" at best. And this guy, he freaking cooked. He cooked the lightweight. He cooked all these guys when he got his pro card. So it's like, dude, sometimes, it's like the best guy on that day wins. The best guy on that day wins. But I like that. I like that method, like top 5. So even if you win your class, it's still not guaranteed. But with that being said, though, I'm just looking at, as we're talking about this, I'm like, shit, I have 3 Mr. USA's on here. North American champ, like, man, there's some accolades on this pod.
Yeah, you won a pro card at a higher level.
Yeah, we still can't win any fucking pro shows.
That's the thing. So Jordan took he won as a heavyweight, and he took, what was it, 2 years off?
2 years off, yeah.
And that originally, when I got off the stage of USA's, I told Justin I didn't want to compete until 2025, like Ken. But when he came down to see me, he told me I needed to compete this year. He said, I still placed 15. So I was like, man, fuck. At the same time, I did a lot in that amount of time, like weight-wise and stage weight and pro size-wise. So I'm not mad at it, but I'm like, damn it, if I would have waited, I wonder like what the quality of my look would have looked like compared to just doing it within 9 months.
I don't know if you remember, Joe. That's why I was asking you. I was like, Joe, you really want to compete now? I was like, maybe you should wait, like give it some time to simmer. I wasn't sure.
This was the first time, because I always decided what I wanted for myself. Like Justin Compton wanted me to do USA's the year I won the California. And the only reason I didn't was because he was like, you'll win your pro card as a heavyweight. He's like, I can almost guarantee it. And I was like, but I won't win the overall, right, for the show. And he was like, honestly, the chances are were more slim. And I would have gone against Stu, and I would have lost. And I was like, well, I want to win the whole show. And that's the only reason why I didn't do it. So this year, or after USA's, I said, Justin, I'm at a point in this game where you have a better eye for this than I do. So you let me know when I'm ready to compete. And then that's when he told me. I was like, okay, whatever you want me to do, I'm giving it to you.
Well, that's wise.
So, yeah, I mean,
it's
because
best
to me,
just listen to him.
Yeah, and I don't regret it at all. Like, it actually drove me to, like, he gave me 9 months between shows, right? So putting on the 19-pound stage weight, the amount of drive I had to do that, because I knew my time was limited, it helped a lot. So
Yeah.
for the long run, I knew it was the right decision, but it's still in the back of my head. I'm like, fuck, man, I wonder if it would have been a different outcome. Because pro debut is almost like your first impression. So it's like that's why I'm like, fuck. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll always live with what ifs, bro. I mean, my pro debut, we made a bad call for finals, and I came in kind of watery compared to the morning. And Tyler told me if I just come in the way I came in the morning, I would have placed better. And so I was like all in my head about what ifs, what if this, what if that. But like ultimately, you bring your best. That's what you could do. You learn from it. You bring that's what bodybuilding is, and you bring your best the next time based on their feedback. So,
I got news for y'all, man. Y'all so into the game that y'all think any of this matters. Nobody cares, bro. Like,
oh no, I know. No, I care though. It's me. It's a me thing. Like, I don't care about what people look at me like.
You mean about whether or not you do well at your pro debut? Yeah, no one remembers except for you.
Nobody give like about any of this shit. That's why like I was saying, like a lot of it is self-induced. Like the things we think about adding stress. Nobody gives a fuck. If you come and you win the Cal next year, it just makes it a better story. Like the truth is, nobody gives a fuck, man.
Nobody remembers. They remember your last show, not your first one, right? So, that's why it has nothing to do with how people perceive or whatever. It's like, oh, he's not going to do well. None of that. I haven't even been told that. It was more so like me knowing me, like what I could do. I'm just like, fuck, like Jordan said, we're always going to wonder what would have been the outcome, but I like winning. So
and that's I understand exactly what Joe is saying. There's a positive reinforcement that comes with winning, or when you're in the run to win. There's just an additional fire in there. You know what I mean? But like you said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But I think internally for ourselves, sometimes that's also kind of that spark. That's the difference is that spark, because you want to win. You always, any show you do, right? We don't put ourselves through this to go there and just not we're going there to win. So I think that winning has a positive reinforcement, and it makes you come back more hungry and hungry each time.
It goes both ways.
Would you not come back better if you lose?
You will.
That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say that. It goes both ways, because depending on the kind of, I guess you could say, loser you are, it could push you that much farther. So it's just like
I'm a career loser personally.
I can only speak for myself, right? I can only speak from my experiences. Nationals was the only show I've ever lost as a bodybuilder, and I know mentally, it actually affected me. It actually affected how I saw myself in terms of my actual prowess as a bodybuilder, because I was like, man, maybe I'm not that good at the national level, maybe, I'm a local guy. That's it, so it depends on the person too. Like internally, there was a lot of mental work that Andrew and Sid did with me, with North Americans. Because I'll be completely upfront. I was going into North Americans. I didn't even think I was I didn't think I could win. I'll be completely honest, till like 4 weeks out, which is like crazy to say right now, but that's how much of a toll that took on me, I think having that person.
I would say that's what you needed. Maybe you thought you was too good. You needed to lose and get humbled, so you realized that you had a lot more work to do. And then what happened after that? You won the whole shit.
I truly believe losing is
wait. So you lost what?
Nationals 22.
Oh, gotcha.
And they came back and
similar
won the
thing
overall.
happened to me, bro. Like I didn't win the overall at my regional show. Now, granted, I have proof that there was some
Don't go there.
stuff going on, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Regardless, I lost the overall at the local show to a much, much older guy. And I almost quit and pulled out of USA's 6 weeks out. And I think that was the drive I needed to push me, but I literally was almost quit right then and there because I was like, there's no way I even have anywhere close to the physique to compete with guys at the national level if I can't win a local show.
I think that's needed, bro. I think we need to get humbled, bro. When Nick got second at USA's, that was a different Nick since that day. Without that loss, if Nick would have turned pro that show, I don't think Nick would have been the Nick we saw now. In the moment, you feel like defeated, but you need to be defeated to be humbled. Why should you think you deserve it? Oh,
right.
I'm gonna win. I'm the front runner. Who the fuck are you? There's 100 other motherfuckers bodybuilding with the same drive as you. Maybe your head is too big, so. I think you need that loss to be like, okay, I'm over here thinking I'm going to win. I got 8th place. Good.
See, I don't
Feel
like
that
how
feeling.
I don't like how people say the whole speak it into existence thing because you have to work it into existence. So it's like
Agreed.
too many people, they have this thought process like, well, you got to say you're going to win. You got to talk about it. You got to be about it. I'm like, no, I like having an underdog mentality where I'm like, I got to wear my ass off if I even want to be presentable. And then I don't have any expectations going in. The stress isn't on me thinking that I'm going to have to win this show to back up all the crap I talked the whole time. And
You
then,
also have-
you go in humble.
Jordan,
Yeah,
you also have to be logical, right? Like,
Right.
let's say, for example, hypothetically, I win New York Pro next year and I'm going to the Olympia. Am I going to say all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to win the O? Like,
right. No, that's insane.
It's insane. It's
It's
insane.
There's a lot of delusion in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jordan, you're a religious guy, right? It's the same concept of like, you pray, right? You pray on things, but it's not like one day you're just going to wake up and have $1 million in your lap. Like you still have to, you got to do your part, like there's things in life you're given the tools, right? We all have the tools to be amazing bodybuilders. And then that prayer, keeping faith alive, it's just like, it gives you hope that you're going to make it, but you still have to do the things that are going to lead you to make it. You still have to bust your ass, Yeah. There's nothing's given.
You can't
no
just
matter what.
talk about it and somehow hope, okay, the more I talk about it, the better the outcome will be.
Yeah.
And it's all over Instagram. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
The manifestation.
To be honest,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ken.
I'm so with John. I'm so with Jordan on this because I feel like it's gone to a point now where if you don't say those things publicly outside, people think you have a loser's mentality, and it's not true.
It's not.
It's
like
not
Stu.
true. Yeah,
I've seen that happen. Mentality.
I've seen that happen with Stu on this podcast and on other podcasts, but I just had to understand Stu more and understand that no, Stu is a winner. He just doesn't go about it that way. And honestly, I could kind of relate to it.
Bro, I tried to believe in myself going to California, and that was a big old fucking mistake.
Mm-hmm.
In retrospect, no, it was a mistake. In retrospect, it was silly.
Just be yourself, whoever you are. Just be yourself. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't even really give a shit what happens this next weekend. I just want to get it over with, man.
Somebody said it earlier. It's up
Joe's
to the
about
judges.
to fight with me, but like, you're not going to change my mind. I don't care.
No, I'm not trying to convince you any other way. I'm just telling you how I think. I was going to say, it's like all manifestation is, or speaking positivity, like positive will attract positive. The people around in your life, I'm not saying it's going to change the outcome. That's not what I'm saying. But however, it keeps your mind straight to keep doing what you're doing to the best of your capabilities. If you believe in something, your mind, body, and soul, right? It's going to follow. Now, whether the outcome's what you want it to be or not, you still with that mindset did everything you knew you could do to try to make that outcome be what it is, and that's all it is. It's just convincing yourself that.
Joe, I agree with you at a point there. Sorry, B, I'll shut it down here after this. I agree with you to a point where when you internalize that, right, it is very different from being online or social media, or when people ask you on interviews, and yeah, you're manifesting that, but you're saying these things, and it's almost like there's a sort of delusion there where it's like, bro, you're not even in the top 3 call out, like for you to even believe that you're going to win this show. So that's where I have problems with it. Is like, yeah, I get it. We all compete and we have to internalize and push ourselves to win. But when you go out there and you say these things, people expect you to say, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to win, I'm going to cook the competition. And if you don't say anything along those lines, you're considered to have a weak mindset, which is not true. That's where I have problems with it.
Listen, it is this simple. I don't disagree with any of it. Do what works for you. Joe is saying that, right? Why is Joe saying that? Because that works for Joe. So great. Yeah. That's what Joe should do. I know Stu well enough to know that Stu is doing everything in his power to win regardless. He doesn't need to manifest it to do what it takes. He's going to do what it takes, whether he says what he says right now, like, I don't give a fuck, or whether he says I'm going to win. He's still doing all the work he needs to do to win. So I have no issue.
I hate the word manifest. It's so white girl woo woo.
I hate it too.
Yeah. Stu's not in. He's not into that. So that doesn't make Stu better when he's like manifesting, because he doesn't believe in that shit,
Dude,
which is fine.
Like, I'm at this point, like,
X's and O's is simple.
It's X's and O's, and it's like I kind of see myself as a career bodybuilder, and this shit is not in my hands. That sounds cynical, but like,
you're right.
Gonna keep on showing up and looking as good as I can, trying to improve year to year. But like, that's all I can do, man. And like, the outcome is, there's no point in talking about it or even thinking about it.
When he said it that way, it sounds a little bit like depressive. But he's completely right. He said nothing wrong. Everything he said is actually factual, completely factual. So what he's saying is correct. It's just the tone he says it is what makes people be like, oh, don't believe in himself. Stu believes in himself.
He sucked the air out of the room. He completely sucked the air out of the room with that
one.
I got no problem with it.
I think that's one of the reasons people like me, because I don't fucking blow smoke into the ether about like, I'm gonna win. Like, no, man.
Mediocre bodybuilder.
Exactly.
Bro, he's right. He's right. Like, Nick Walker isn't winning because he's saying he's gonna win. He's winning because he has the goods. He's fucking 260 pounds of muscle in shape. So it's like, it's not because he's just talking out his ass. So you can't relate it, but look at this guy said it. If Nick didn't say shit, he would have still won New York. He didn't need to say anything, right? So it's one of those things that I actually agree with Stu. I just don't say it that way, but it's the same result. At the end of the day, that judge is making your score regardless of what the fuck you believe. I think I won. The judge says, nope. 4th place. Ain't shit you could do about it. You doing more cardio wouldn't have made you do any better in that judge's eye. You taking more diuretics wouldn't have changed anything. So Stu is completely right. I don't say it like that, but that's me. That's why I say everybody.
Yeah, right.
Joe keep manifesting. Stu keeps saying that.
I'm kind of purposefully being a negative Nancy because I'm in a shitty mood and I'm 7 days out and I just want to be over with this shit. But that's how I think.
There's 100% zero difference between how Stu does things and how I do things. We do things the exact same way. Whatever the job is, it's going to get done no matter what, and we're going to bring the best we can bring, right? So the only difference was the way he phrases things and the way I phrase things. So me having a belief system in what I'm doing keeps the drive alive. Like, if I'm gonna, for example, like, if I try to go to the NBA and I know I'm not gonna fucking make it to the NBA, or I tell me I'm not good enough, like, fuck, whatever, like, I'll never make it there because I won't have the drive to do it. So for me, believing that I can make it in the bodybuilding thing helps me keep pushing forward. So, for example, getting third call-outs, right? Like, that didn't hurt me to the point where I'm like, fuck, I don't think I should do this anymore. But no, man, I still believe that I can make it to where I want to go. So that belief system is going to keep me alive in this.
Jordan has to bounce. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I hate to stop this conversation because I really like this conversation. I talk about this stuff a lot, but I got a posing call.
He got to make that money.
No, I'm not making the money. I'm paying. Joey Belt's making the money.
Oh, okay.
But I gotta jump on with him. It's good talking to you guys. I appreciate it. You guys having me on.
Likewise, man.
We love having you on, man.
All right, bro. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Later, Jordan.
Yeah. I thought he had to make that money so he could afford all that flavor gang.
That's the Serostim. Remember, he's a Serostim.
Oh yeah. he didn't talk to us about that, did he? Well, one day. I mean, I'm sure he's doing good with all these videos he's posted and shit. All right. I think that's enough combo about self-confidence. Hey, do whatever works for you. Do it. And obviously it's working for Stu. Stu is one of the best bodybuilders in the world.
Summarize my mindset. Fuck it, we ball.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. No, I respect Stu because he's real. And it's just, his delivery is the way it is, but it's him. That's 100% respectable. But I was just trying to say, we're on the same kind of, we look at it the same. I just use more positive words than Stu uses his words.
I'm just coming from the point of fact that the confidence thing is a fad. It's almost like the me versus me bullshit years ago. It seems like a fad. Like people, not you, Joe, like yours is real, but there's a lot of people who kind of put it out there, and it's kind of this mentality, right, that people are kind of pushing online when it's not really who they are, which it just irks me the wrong way.
I know what you mean.
That's what I'm saying. I'm realistic about it.
I'm not heavier.
I'm realistic about it. What am I capable of? It's like I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, no, I believe I'm going to go to my first Olympia and I'm going to win the whole thing. That's stupid as fuck. If the cards look like they're like in line for me to do certain things, that's what helps me believe. Like if it's obtainable, but if it's not obtainable, it's far fetched. It's stupid as fuck. But I can believe in what I believe that is possible and realistic. Like if I would have, if I wouldn't have won USA's and I would have gotten my pro card, taking second in the overall or whatever, I wouldn't believe that I could win my pro debut. And I still didn't, So it's just like, did I believe I could? Yeah, I really did. But reality hits, right? And I understand why I didn't. I'm not delusional about it. So it's just like,
dude,
I'm still gonna believe though that I can win.
To summarize it, do whatever works for you. At the end of the day, Stu is the highest ranked bodybuilder on here, and he does it his way, and it works for him because he wouldn't be the highest ranked bodybuilder on here. So, Stu, keep being Stu.
By what metric? There's a bunch of professionals here, and we all haven't won shows, so.
So you placed as high as second at the New York Pro.
Professional losers.
You're the highest placing.
Kennedy, actually, you're the only person who hasn't lost a pro show. So
because I've never done a pro show.
Hey, but look, I'm not even Kennedy. I'm not even Kennedy, but I'm seeing his trajectory, and I believe he could win a pro debut. I do.
Man. Yeah,
I'm not going to put that pressure on you, Kennedy.
Thanks, Joe. But we'll see.
I will. I'll put all kinds of pressure on you.
I don't believe in myself, let alone any of my friends.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, Stu, we're the best losers ever because everybody still wants to watch.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, man. Shit. I don't know how y'all guys feel about this, but I gotta find this fun. I gotta want to do this. If I don't want to do this, I'm not doing it. But that goes for anything, not just bodybuilding. Like the one thing I'll never do is just do something in life that I don't want to do. So there has to be some enjoyment or fulfillment, or I don't give a fuck. End of the day, at one point, we all gonna be in a fucking coffin somewhere, and nobody's gonna give a fuck. You think they will, but they won't. Huh?
All that matters is how big it is.
Yeah.
Bro, the highlight of my day is training. the highlight of my fucking day. So I look forward to it every fucking day.
Sometimes I like having days where there's no bodybuilding. I don't watch any bodybuilding. I don't look at any buff people. If somebody's too jacked, I won't even look in the direction. Nothing. I like to do this because I like to have perspective. Because when I talk to my bodybuilder friends, sometimes a lot of people lose perspective in life because it's part of the game. When you're really deep in it, you have no perspective. Exactly. So sometimes it's important to think about that because we think a lot of things matter when nobody gives a fuck. It's okay that we give a fuck, but you have to give a fuck enough to know what's really important. These are conversations that I have with people at certain times, and some people won't get it until they get it. Until they get it, be like, damn, as important as this is, and as hard as I go for this thing, there's life, and life matters. It counts for something. So don't get so caught up in the anxiety and the and this and that. Sometimes take a step back and realize you have it fucking good. You're so privileged that you can starve yourself and use copious amounts of drugs and spend all this money on this shit and be healthy and successful and be able to afford this shit. You're privileged as fuck. So don't make it seem like you're not. You know, so
it's funny, but being real with it, like, you know, we talked about phases earlier on in the conversation in prep. One phase that always hits me, and it's usually about 3 to 4 weeks out, is there's a moment where I'm like, where I tell myself, like, fuck, man, why do I do this shit? And you miss out on all of like what life is outside of bodybuilding. You miss all those things. And then it's a short-lived phase, but there is moments where it's like life is pretty fucking amazing when you're that low and stuff and prep and shit. You think about all the things you could do when you feel good. You don't got to worry about meals and shit. So that's a phase that hits me every fucking prep. It's like right towards the end, but not the very end. It's like, fuck, man. So
I'm gonna say this. One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna miss anything, and I don't mean I'm not gonna go party or anything like that. I'm not into that. But I'm not making any excuses like for not seeing my mom, not seeing my family, not being present. There's no more excuses. I'm gonna do all of it and still bodybuild, just because that's important to me. You know, we have another 10 years of doing this. Then what? Then you have nothing left. Nah, I'm gonna make sure you can do it. I've seen people do it. You know, we make a choice not to do it. Fucking 3 weeks out, I ain't hanging out with no family or friends. I'll tell you that much. But like I said, off season rebound, even up to 6 weeks out. Like if I'm 7 weeks out, I can go to my family and bring my meals packed up. No problem. You know, so I just want people to understand perspective, especially some of the younger guys. Some of the DMs I get is ridiculous, bro. I'm gonna do this, but I want to quit my job because I want to do bodybuilding full time. I'm like, what the fuck does bodybuilding have to do with quitting your job? I don't know. I feel like I have to quit my job. How the fuck are you gonna afford the food? Like, you sound stupid, bro. I get it. You're young, but relax, bro. Like, calm down. Like, keep being a person. Bodybuilding is an addition. It's not a subtraction. You know, but
so you're at least a pro. Don't even
these people
are not even like.
But we talked about that. Don't mean anything, bro. I'm in Cali. There's a lot of pros. Okay.
When I mean pro, I mean like an actual like top call out pro, not like just anyone that's a pro. You know, because like you said, there are a lot of pros, but if you're not, there's pro and there's pro. Like if you're a guy that people know in the circuit, then you have opportunities. Right, versus you just turn pro and you know you're kind of just hustling just like everyone else. It's a big difference. So yeah, for someone like that, if you're still on the local level, I would never even. That is just it's almost like you're using bodybuilding as a crutch to make poor decisions at that point. Yeah, you know.
Listen, man. Even if you're getting top 3 at pro shows, still have everything in consideration. If you're Nick Walker, you can give everything to the sport with no regrets. I don't care if you're top 5 at New York. You still need to make sure your life is together. You know, you'll know when you can put all eggs in that basket. You know. But anyway, that's enough for the deep talk.
Yeah, you want to switch gears? We've been
that's the story. We're getting too deep.
Prep talk for a while.
Too much. We got too deep this time. This is why I like myself in the off season where I'm just cracking jokes. It's too serious. Let's get some questions before Stu collapses.
I actually got to get out of here, guys.
Oh yeah, do your thing, Stu.
Yep. See you later, guys.
All right,
I see you, Stu.
Bring the
Good luck,
mood
bro.
up a little bit now that I'm leaving. Okay.
1
Good
week
luck.
out, right? 1 week out.
Yeah.
1 week out. Yep.
Oh
Good
man,
luck,
Almost
bro.
there, buddy.
I think I would literally come to tears. I told you that, but I'm gonna come to tears if Stu gets this one.
Well,
Bro.
you gonna see on my IG stories crying like Stu. Be one of those
dude,
guys.
I will block your ass like that if you do that.
I'm doing it for sure now.
Say your eyes are too high. You'll be able to cry.
Oh yeah, you're right. But by that point, I might not be.
All
right,
right,
Stu.
see you
I'll
later,
cry for
guys.
you.
Later,
Bro, good
Stu.
luck. Good luck, bro.
And then there were 4. All right, get into questions. Well, first of all, Brett, how I like to torture myself just by knowing what Brett is doing. Hey, Brett, what's the diet and cardio looking like?
My cardio is 40 minutes right now. Justin just gave me a bunch of carbs.
I see.
For my second meal, he threw in 300 grams of rice.
Mm.
And then meal 3, 4, and 5, 225 grams of rice. And then my sixth meal is 150 grams of rice.
Wow, that's
Sounds
How
like
do you-
Thanksgiving.
But yeah, that's just for today, though. And then I check back in on Tuesday.
you look a little bit more tired though than I've seen
I
you.
thought the same thing when he first came on. I was like, oh shit. There
And
it
I
is.
had a dialed mood and everything. I was a little bit more peppier earlier, but then my girlfriend and I, we went to LA. I did like some little modeling thing for a clothing company, and then came back here, and then I kind of like crashed.
It's weird how that works. 40 minutes of cardio. He got a bunch of carbs today, but he's tired, and I actually feel better today on lower food. It's just because
The
it's not
crashes from
linear.
those carbs. Yeah, when the carbs
Exactly.
come down, like they pick you up, and then because your metabolism is so fast and your body's like been starved, it just soaks it up, and then boom.
Okay, so now when I get a refeed, granted it's not a ton of food, but early in the prep I get a refeed. The weight goes up by 1 or 2 pounds. Now the weight stays exactly the same or goes down. That's when you know when your metabolism is on fire. Yeah, which is something honestly I don't think it's ever happened to me before. At least not.
Remember, I told you that Justin was really good at making your body a machine, and I said you would push
He
yourself
did it.
too far, but Justin would be able to tell you like, okay, now we're gonna add some food in to just keep you fucking going. Then your body becomes you can handle more food as the prep goes along.
It's so minor, but such a big difference because I gave myself refeeds like every 7 days, I think last prep, and Justin is usually every 4 or 5 days. There was 1 week where he skipped it because he wanted to push me down harder, but that's about it. But it's just the experience level, bro. He has so much experience, you know. He does a better job. I mean, obviously he's a better coach than me. Like no shit. So he
Yeah,
does
you
do a
know
better
what,
job.
bro? When you like I told you, it's a fucking what is it? Pros and cons to dieting yourself, right? Because you have the work ethic and the drive, but that can really run you down to the ground. But when you have somebody that can reassure you, like, hey, pull back, because you don't want to go to a point of no return. And I knew that's all you needed. Like when I said, hey, bro, just follow through, because he's going to do what you do, but know when to bring you some life again before you start dying out.
100%. All right. Let's get into some questions. No questions, but shout out for the consistency with the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, props to you, even during prep.
I gotta be honest, I have days where I'm like, there's no way I can go on today. But once I start talking to y'all, I'm just there's no pressure. It feels like I'm talking to my boys. That's why honestly, like I haven't been doing guests like that. Besides, like I mean, if you have Alyssa, that's just like a friend, you know. But I just want to talk to my boys. I can't do the guests right now. I don't have the attention span.
It's more impressive that you're able to host compared to when we were just being on. because there was times where I was on and I didn't say shit for most of the time, but you were on prep and you have to keep things going. So it's pretty crazy that you're able to do that shit.
I kind of feel like I'm quiet, and I feel like I'm like grumpy, but nobody says that I come across anytime I haven't seen in the comments or anybody else doesn't think that way, but I feel that
you time it right. Once you start quieting down, you let, like, for example, me and Stu or whatever talk amongst each other, and then you kind of chime in once you're ready to talk. Like, you time it really well.
yeah. So as long as it's working, man. I think. What's up with that picture?
Oh no, it's so wholesome.
You guys want to hear the funniest cramp story? Actually,
Yeah,
yes.
My girlfriend would laugh if she knew I was telling you guys this. So we were sitting on the couch at our last place, and it was like, you know, when you're in low energy and prep and you like don't want to get up to do anything, even go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting, and then I was like, I have to take a crap. So I get up off the couch to go to the bathroom, and my adductors actually cramped really, really bad. And my hamstrings. And I was like bent, both of them. I'm like bent over. I couldn't even like walk any further. And then I asked her to go grab like the office chair that was like maybe 4 feet away from me. And so from there, I like sat down in the chair. I'm like freaking out, hyperventilating because I'm like trying to like not be cramping. I'm like, she's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, I'm trying. So then she was like, what, you need to calm down. I'm like, I can't right now. I got up to go take a crap and I'm cramping right now. And now I'm trying not to crap myself while I'm cramping. So she's like, do you want me to push the chair into the bathroom? And I was like, no. And then eventually I was like, yeah, push the chair into the bathroom. So then she's pulling this chair, a wheeled chair, just to get me to the bathroom, and like shoves it into the bathroom.
Holy shit.
You don't try to drink whenever someone cramps or whatever. The first thing I do, if it's not me, is I'll give them I'll put a bunch of Himalayan pink salt in some water and just say chug it. Just chug it.
Okay.
It'll usually dissipate the cramp.
Justin was telling me to just like crack salt in my mouth.
Some of that right now.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question, and then I'm gonna run and pee real quick while I answer the question. Thoughts on non-fat Greek yogurt as a protein source in contest prep?
Personally, I would rather do meat just because it'll keep me fuller.
Yeah.
Stomach full.
I feel like if I ate that, it would just run right through me.
Are you lactose intolerant?
No, but actually, yeah. Well, Greek yogurt I can handle better. But like if I have like ice cream or anything dairy, really, it's just like it's not a good thing for me. But with low-fat Greek yogurt, I personally would not be able to do that on prep, just because, like you said, I would not be full.
Yeah,
it's a good idea for like off season, so you can get your protein in and not be full.
And then it keeps you from being fat because usually it's you can add sweet stuff to it.
Yeah,
so it's like a dessert. Like I remember Justin's first plan for me ever had that in, but I told him I couldn't do it because of my stomach. But still, like sometimes I'll switch my chicken and rice meal at the end of the day with like a cream of rice just because it's sweet. Like I do the protein and stuff, and it keeps me from eating dessert.
You want something sweet? Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like the sweet and savory, like sweet cream of rice with chicken, but that the Flavor Gang sauces help me with that because some of them are sweet, and just that sweet, it's weird because off season I don't like sweet with my meat off season. It's kind of weird to me off season. I guess besides actually chicken sometimes.
Flavor Gang has this sauce called, I think it's sweet poppy sauce.
I love that sauce.
bro. So that to me is like the perfect sweet and savory because it's kind of sweet, but because it's like a sweet mustard, it's fucking delicious, bro.
I'm gonna send you a picture, bro. At this point,
You're fucking loaded.
Yeah, to the point that me and Ross are besties now, just because I'll buy
I'm
so
about
much
to
of
buy
shit.
like a fucking 10.
Have you seen the nut butter that Ross posted about recently?
Mm-mm.
It was like a non-fat, basically like
Professor Nutty.
Yeah,
Professor Nutty.
Professor Nuts, the high protein. Yeah, I know about that one. I'm gonna try it out off season. I don't get any fats pre-contest. Do you get fats pre-contest, Brett?
Pre-contest?
Yeah, contest prep.
I don't remember.
It starts off, yeah. No, in the beginning he does, but it's like one of the
right
first
now,
things he takes
the only
out.
thing fat I'm really having is like ground beef.
Well, he never.
How many beef meals do you have? 2?
2.
Yeah, he usually keeps. So when I was smaller for the California, he always kept 1 in. But as I've progressed in size, it's always 2. He keeps 2.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's the best, bro. Having red meat. You don't.
I don't got any beef meals.
It's higher in fat. So.
I had 2 at the right 2 at the start, and I think I had
Ken?
1.
I had 3.
Yeah. I think I had 1 at the start. No, I'm
I have to stand up. If I sit down, dude, my hamstring is gonna lock up again, and I'm gonna be in tears.
Oh, you cramped right now,
bro? That's why. Did you see me like almost jump out of my seat? I thought I was gonna.
Is that why you told that story, Brett? Did I miss that?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I don't know what the fuck I was. What the fuck was
that? Yeah, bro. My hamstring, because I did hamstrings today.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess sitting for that long was a bad idea.
I just told a hamstring story yesterday. In 2021, I went to Vegas. Fun fact: I was supposed to get married, but I didn't. And that was my bachelor party. And we went to Vegas. And the day before, me and Paul used to have a hammy day. So my hammies were fucking obliterated. Drove to Vegas. Next day, drank all day, and we're getting ready to go to dinner. And my younger brother was like telling me, now that you're all big. I was only like 235 pounds at this point. He's like, now that you're way bigger, I'm way faster than you, I bet. I was like, no, the fuck you're not. I was like, look at my fucking leg muscle, bro. Like, I'll still beat you. Anyways, hamstring sore, drunk. We go down the hallway, and we both fucking take off. And like literally probably like somewhere between 5 and 10 steps in, my fucking right hammy goes like, bah! And then my left hammy, bah! So I pulled both my hammies in that sprint, and I have never run again ever since. That was the worst thing in the world. To sit on a toilet, it was terrible, bro.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, you got lucky. That could you could have actually torn them.
Yeah.
That happened to someone recently. I think they were doing a sprint or something, and they actually.
It was Jeremy Buendia. He tore his Achilles tendon.
Right? Yeah, Achilles tendon. Yeah.
Bro, I'm so afraid to do anything nowadays. Like even fucking bowling. That other men's physique guy tore his bicep bowling.
Yeah.
And then someone was talking to me about riding like ATVs, right? And I was like, honestly, I got scared to do that shit because that's where Seth Barossi tore his tricep. He just kind of braced himself and then bah!
Just went.
How do you feel about Greek yogurt for prep?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it just because like dairy depends on how you tolerate dairy in prep. Sometimes I don't know about you guys, but dairy for me, like you kind of hold a little bit of water when I have dairy in my diet during prep, and depending on the person, like for me, I personally wouldn't do Greek yogurt just for one, the satiety. I'd rather have meat. So I'd rather have some kind of protein, like actual meat in there. If you're having dairy in there as your protein, and you're not in shape, you're probably eating too much.
You're not going to be in shape.
You're not going to be in shape, So most people don't have that luxury to be adding different kinds of protein sources, especially as
You
you get
guys,
deeper.
would you ever do if it fits your macros for prep?
No. If I was going for the summer or the beach, yeah, but like for prep, no.
My
I
very
wouldn't do
first
it.
show, I did that until I was 4 weeks out, and then I switched to whole single ingredient foods for the last 4 weeks. And if you look at my pictures, I did like my body almost had zero difference.
It's the inconsistency, right? It's the inconsistency of it. Like I remember I followed like when Greg Doucette would do it, right? And he's making all these like different things, or like people will do like cereal, and it's like, yeah, you'll get lean, but dude, if you're on low food, man, and your carb source is cereal, like, dude, like what are you eating at that point? You know,
I feel like
so
for prep, if it fits your macros, you can get lean, but you're never gonna be like hard,
yes,
and like grainy and like absolutely shredded.
Would you consider what Jordan does kind of like that?
What is
he
Jordan?
Has a set plan, but he does like the protein pancakes. He does like sourdough toast and stuff. He does
what he's doing is if it fits the macros though.
That's what I'm saying. So he's peeled.
Hold on, here's the thing, because we just give very extreme examples, but it's literally just fitting your macros. It doesn't mean having a lollipop for meal.
Yeah, no. So he's still using like food, but
there's
still
only food. There's no not food. It's all food.
I think we're basing this. You're basing this when people say they want to do it if it fits your macros. They're trying to fit things into their diet that they typically cannot do, or they want to make their diet somewhat flexible. Yeah, Jordan has some sweet stuff in his diet, but Jordan also diets on a lot of food compared to a lot of people. So he can afford to do that. He can afford to do that, you know? Most people don't diet on food volumes that high. Like for Jordan, you know, he's an anomaly. So that's why when I say when we're talking about a lot of these things, I'm talking about general population, not the
average person. Yeah.
What's your point? Okay, so right now I'm on one carb meal, right? 4 ounces of rice. Yeah. That's about 28 grams of carbs. Instead of rice, if I had a half a bagel that has 20 grams of carbs, you think I would be in less shape?
No, you'd be in shape. That's what I'm saying. Like it's still the same.
Exactly. And now, if you're arguing, am I going to be hungrier? I'm already level 10 hungry. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to be hungry regardless. So my thing is,
I don't think it does. Having a bagel, having a bagel for your only carb source versus rice, you don't know what that does to your blood sugar levels too, right? Like
nothing.
Like certain foods matter. Right? Like if I had a whole bagel versus I had a cup of rice, depending on what the macros were, bro, that's going to raise your blood sugar a lot more than having just like regular foods. And depending on the person,
that's not true.
Discipline.
I honestly don't believe that.
Like 3/4.
It's not true.
3/4 of a cup of cereal, because usually a serving is 3/4 of a cup, and it's about like 30-ish to 40-ish grams of carbs.
It's not true.
Bro, like bagels are ultra processed, bro. It is true.
Who are you speaking about? You're speaking about who's already done it. My blood sugar don't budge, so I'm telling you that factually, it's not going to raise my blood sugar. Now, if you're talking about some generic person, I mean, that's why you can't make these blanket statements. It's up to that person. My blood sugar ain't going nowhere, whether it's bagel or rice. So it makes no difference for me. So here's my point. If it makes a difference, change it. But I've actually never seen it make a difference. Greg Doucette's clients get in shape.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like I've done it myself, and I had gets in shape. Stretches in my shoulders, everything. I was peeled.
Okay, hold on. When we say Jordan, you guys are making it seem like Jordan's eating ice cream all day and all that. Bro, he does like one meal, bro. Like it's probably at night. Like he doesn't do. It's not like he's eating that stuff all day. Like he Tuttle's his coach. He does. His meals are still pretty balanced. Like you're only seeing like one meal out of the rest of it, and you're kind of assuming that that's what he's eating.
Nobody's assuming
of his diet. That's not true.
We watched the video.
Like you could do one meal here and there if you have the food volume to get away with it. But if majority of your meal sources, you're doing it if it fits your macros, and majority of your meal sources are coming from less than whole foods, bro, I do believe it's going to affect your look. You're going to get shredded. You will still get peeled because calories in, calories out, but it's going to affect your look. It's kind of the same thing with when Mike Israetel was talking about how protein bars, right? He has protein bars during his diet to fulfill his protein macronutrients. And, protein is protein, regardless of if he gets it from chicken or if he gets it from a Quest bar. No offense to Quest. But, dude, you guys really believe that? You really believe that I can diet on Quest bars okay, let me stop using Quest. I can diet on protein bars all day as my protein source. And I'm going to look the same as someone who is having actual whole proteins like chicken.
No. That's not
I'm
what
saying.
we're saying. What we're saying that's not what if it fits your macros is. It's just you selecting what protein sources. Dieting like an asshole has nothing to do with if it fits your macros. We use that label as if it's a junk food diet. It's not a junk food diet. If you tell me I have 4 ounces of sweet potato and I choose white rice, that's if it fits your macros. It's still if it fits your macros.
That's what
I
John
guess
that I
if
agree
it
with
fits
you.
your macros is more of perspective of
That I agree.
who are you asking
That I
if
agree
it fits your macros.
Everybody's so extreme. Like when we say it, you're already thinking about candy bars. That's not what if it fits your macros.
That's not what we're trying to
It's
do.
just making the selection. Now, if you choose to have candy bars, okay, it's meal 5. Instead of shake, I'm gonna have a candy bar. I don't believe that's gonna all of a sudden make you not get lean. We're not saying be a dick and say that I'm just gonna drink liquid egg whites 6 times a day. That's being stupid. We're just saying simply like replace. You choose the carb source. It doesn't mean it has to be loaded with a bunch of sodium.
So
I agree with you in that regard, right? What you're saying. There's a responsible act to that. But now think about where we started with this conversation. The person asking this question, do you really believe that person is sitting there and saying, I want to do it if it fits your macros because I want to have chicken instead of steak?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that's the question they're asking when they ask that?
That was the
That was
original
someone-
reason why I asked, because I was like, I know that there are people out there that diet like that, like a candy and all of that stuff. Instead of eating like the whole foods, I'm not talking like Jordan where protein pancakes. I'm not talking like that. It's more of like the people that will like, let me have popcorn as my carb source, or just, literally, like you said, eating like an asshole. But a second thing, when you were talking about egg whites as your only protein source, I actually met this dude that was prepping for a show, and I was like, dude, what the heck happened? You got so much softer. And he's like, I've just been drinking my egg whites every day. I'm like, how much egg whites are you drinking? And he's like, probably like 3 of those things from Costco. I'm like, so you're drinking all egg whites instead of having like chicken or anything like that? And that actually made a huge difference because there's a lot of sodium in egg whites. We just don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
There was time, I literally just said this at the beginning of this question, but I actually did it only a few times during prep. If I was really fucking like going through it and I needed something sweet, like that craving was just not satisfied, my last meal of the day was always like either chicken by itself or chicken and rice. And depending on whether the hunger was there or I just really needed to kill a craving without cheating on my diet, that's where I would do like a protein isolate with cream of rice and eat that, because the macros lined up. It was a carb source and a protein source, a lean protein source, but it was in the form of powder. But I had to decide, will I go to bed hungry, but now my sweet tooth's killed, or go to bed a little fuller, but I'm fucking having this craving that I can't satisfy.
And Joe, that's why I asked that question when we started. Are you talking about getting lean or contest prep? Because in contest prep, the goal is to keep your variables as minimal as possible, because when you start introducing different foods, especially at different phases of prep, you don't know how your body is going to react. Yep. So it doesn't make sense from a contest prep perspective. You're actually doing yourself a disservice
So like that meal I already
going that
had
way.
in my plan.
Yeah.
It was just my first meal. So
Yeah, but it's not like something that's like out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
where
It's
it's
not out of the
this was
ordinary.
part of-
Yeah.
This was these were foods that I already had incorporated. Like Beatty said, like from time to time, would you switch the meat source and the carb source for another meat source and carb source?
Yeah, that's something that I
figure
would
out if I can get a candy bar in there. No, that's
that's fine. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. But most time when people are talking about if it fits your macros, right? They're usually talking about
diet like
the
now.
variables
and shit.
The variables are this large versus just what we're talking about here within a specific scope. I won't even call what you guys are doing if it fits your macros, to be honest.
Earlier, maybe you were talking about
that.
Switching out potatoes and rice, and that's totally cool. But then, like, let's switch out those like 30 grams of carbs for some cereal. You know, like 30 grams of carbs from cereal. Would you think that would affect your look?
That because of the amount of sugar in it, I think you would do something.
That's what I was talking about for like the.
No, but look, Beatty, I know what you're gonna say, but as far as like being peeled, that extra sugar, I think, will do something. That
you just can't say that because people already do it. Okay, there's coaches that have Rice Krispie treats, 2 or 3 Rice Krispie treats post workout, all the way until Friday of the show, and their guys are peeled. So it's never about what this one person can do. I don't do any of this shit because I can't leave anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I need to do. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Whereas so many people already do it.
That's still a variable that's constant. So now are they going to switch to Rice Krispie treats for Cinnamon Toast Crunch on another day? No.
On the off season,
So that's what we're trying to say. Listen, if it fits your macros, the whole point of if it fits your macros is you have full flexibility to something.
No, it's not.
And out.
No, that's not. If it fits your macros,
I rest my case.
If it fits your macros, it's just choosing the macros. If it fits your macros, there's no rule that says you have to change it every day. That's my point.
I'm not saying you have to change it every day. It's literally in the name. It's literally in the name. If it fits your macros, it's literally in the name. Listen, if I don't want rice today, I can switch it for potatoes or I can switch it for cereal. That is if it fits your macros. I'm not saying that you have to change it every day.
Yeah, okay,
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, because you're making it mean what you want it to make. You don't have to introduce a new food for it to be a efficient macro. If I'm having Rice Krispies every fucking day, I leave it in every fucking day, I didn't change the variable, but I'm still having Rice Krispies because it fits my macros.
From the beginning of, so you're saying you had Rice Krispie treats
from off season all the way till show day.
That's not if it fits your macros.
Yes, it is.
It's your diet. It's part of your diet.
If you introduce something that was not part of your diet at some point, that it could affect you because it's not a variable that your body is aware of. So, like,
of course,
it's one thing if you've had potatoes and rice, if you've had cereal in since day one and rice, and then one day you get to your plan, you're like, you know what? Kind of want to have a second cereal meal. It won't affect you like if it was a brand new item out of nowhere that your body doesn't know. Like during this prep.
Even what Beatty is saying, if I've had Rice Krispie treats from the beginning of my off season all the way into my prep, that's my diet. It is not if it fits your macros. I'm not subbing anything out. Okay, I'm done.
Wait, why is that not? I don't understand. Why is that not if it fits your macros?
Well, because I guess
let's just do a poll. Let's do a poll.
Well, Beatty, are you saying if fits your macros means you can use foods outside of bro foods and place it in the plan?
That's what it is. It's up to your discretion. Because your argument would be, okay, if I'm having 4 ounces of rice every meal, is that if it fits your macros? No, it's a bro diet. If a bro, but if I also
hybriding it, and then Ken is saying,
let me finish. If I'm having 4 ounces of rice the entire time, and in 4 weeks out I change it to sweet potato, that's not like, you know what I'm saying? That's still a bro diet. But what if the sweet potato fucks up my stomach? I still wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
It's still a bro diet.
I've done If It Fits Your Macros before I started competing. Listen, what we're talking about with If It Fits Your Macros, the whole point of If It Fits Your Macros is the flexibility of the diet itself. If your diet is constant, right? If I have Cinnamon Toast Crunch in my diet right now in the off season, all the way till New York Pro, that is still part of my diet. Okay, you may not call it a bro diet, but it is part of my diet. The variables do not change.
But you guys aren't disagreeing. You're not. I think it's just a miscommunication.
We disagree. Where we disagree is Beatty is saying, if I come in now and say, okay, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is part of my diet, and I decide to introduce Rice Krispie treats, I'm just switching one macro for another. I'm saying now you're doing If It Fits Your Macros. You have the flexibility to switch your variables when you want, as long as the macros fit what you're trying to do. And in a contest prep, you don't want to do that, because the variables you add in do matter in terms of how your body responds to them. That's all I'm saying, and I'll end my my sermon there.
Just don't fuck up your digestion. Whatever you're doing, whatever food you have, don't introduce new shit, because you do that, it's gonna change shit. That's it.
Yeah. So what's the argument here then?
That's what I'm saying. There's no real argument. There's no
because you don't have to change your food. You could. You're just making a choice. It's still If It Fits Your Macros. You're just not changing the food every day. So there's no argument, right?
I'll stop.
Hey, moral of the story: whatever's on your diet plan, just fucking follow the diet plan. There you go.
Yeah, I just don't understand the argument. I understand what's being disagreed with here.
Ken saying, do not introduce new foods into the current diet that you've been following. It can be Rice Krispies if you want to, as long as it's been in play. You don't want your body to try to learn a new food and try to adjust to it during a prep, because then it could fuck up the way things are running as far as like digestion and all that stuff. That's pretty much all he's saying.
Sure. If you could do that.
If it fits your macros, I get 50, let's say you get 300 grams of carbs, 300 grams of protein, and 60 grams of fat. Base diet. Put whatever you want to sub in there to fit the meals. Now, you could have it clean. Let's use a basic example. You have it clean, you put your rice, whatever. Now, say one day, I'm tired of having rice in my freaking diet. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch that out to maybe something else. Post-workout, I'll have, I don't know, cereal, or we don't even have to go that extreme. You can switch it to, I don't know, what else is there? Cream of rice or some shit, right? Like, or I'm eating Flavor Gang from meal 1 to meal 4 for all my carbs. If it fits your macros, you have the flexibility to do that. In a diet, you technically don't. Like, if I have Rice Krispies in the beginning all the way till the end, the variable has not changed. But let's move on, please. I'm tired of
this. That's actually another question. I want to ask another question.
I just don't get the point of debate. Like, what are we debating here? Like, you want to change your food or not? There's no debate. You don't. I don't know. You could change it if you want, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the point is.
The original question was, if it fits your macros, can you do it for contest prep? You said, yeah, you can get lean, but it's still not the most optimal way to go into a contest diet, because different variables that you add in can affect your look. That was the base question that we answered, and that's where
we can move on.
Started to go in. Yeah.
Forget I even asked.
I love you guys.
I guess to bring it full circle, do what you have to do to get in shape. Yeah. If somebody's changing macros every day and they're the most peeled guy in the show, I'm not gonna sit here and tell them that they did it wrong. I'm just not. And I've heard plenty of people say, Ian on record said that was probably the leanest he got if it fits your macro. So I'm not finna tell him that, you can't get in shape or peeled for a show doing that. I think you can do whatever works for you, and that's just what works for you, I personally do what works for me, which is not if it fits your macros,
The only reason I don't do it fits macros because I don't like making shit complicated. If I see like I don't want to think. It's just fuck it. I'm just gonna. And then the only time I do it, like I said, the cream of rice, and that's because I really need something sweeter. I'm about to fucking fuck everything up.
Yeah. I guess generally I don't like that old school mindset that you have to do it this way, whereas you kind of just say that because you're nervous that it might not work, whereas somebody does it both ways and then it works perfectly fine, but then it's like you shouldn't do it that way.
No,
I don't think you need to suffer to prove anything to anybody else. I think if Jordan can eat all the fucking sauces and shit he wants and he's more peeled than everybody, I don't think he should stop it because people are like, I see the comments, oh, wouldn't you be leaner if he didn't do that? I'm like, I don't think so. I think he's doing exactly what works, you know.
And that's been in his diet since it's been in his diet since day one. Like he's been eating that all the way, even in off season. I wouldn't even call that. So like what you were saying, right? Like if it fits your macros, you can still get to a contest ready state. It's just it may be a bit harder because the variables they're changing constantly. So that's why I said it's not as optimal. You can still get lean, still get on stage shredded, but you're going to have to be really, really in tune with yourself, you know, to get to that point. And for most people, it's just easier to just have a standard diet.
That and then also, you know, like the way your body processes certain carbs. Like my body does not process potatoes as efficient and good as rice kind of thing. So like, you know, when I'm leading up to a show, I want to make sure that, like, for example, Justin,
tricep check. Yeah, I thought that, right?
Yeah.
I saw that, bro.
But Justin knows exactly what's going on and what foods he wants to use based on how my body looks with the response of that food. So the more basic it is, the easier it is to peak somebody.
Yeah. All right. Last question. First of all, Ken, are you coming to Texas?
No, I got sponsor obligations.
Okay. Are y'all planning to do any meet and greets in Texas? We just pulling up, but
yeah,
I guess we can.
We can announce that when we're going to head up to Destination Dallas and stuff, or well, we're going to be at the show too. So if we want to, like, we can at the show.
I guess whatever we decide on, we'll just make a post about it.
Yeah.
But we'll be there. I mean, if you live in Texas, if you live in the area, we'll be all around. We'll be at all the gyms and
it'll be what me, you, Paul, Stu, and Zaid.
Compton, right? Is Compton going?
Justin,
Compton,
yeah. I think so. I'm not positive because he's coming for USA's, no?
Yeah.
So that's back to back. So I don't know if he'll do it. I'll ask him. I'll ask him for my check-in tomorrow.
I'm trying to get him to. I don't want to bombard him, but I think I could finagle him. I want him to come to Olympia and Texas.
We did get the Airbnb, so he's gonna have to share a room if he does.
Oh, for Texas?
Yeah, I mean, what? If anything, if he sleeps with somebody, I mean, shit, to get him to go, we're all paid for it already. And
I could share a room with him. I don't mind that. I've shared rooms with Compton before.
Let's just not charge him for the house, and then if he wants to like put money in for gas for us and stuff.
He don't gotta put money. He don't gotta put money for anything.
All right, cool. If you're cool with that, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. It's been a minute. It feels like old time. Me and Ken got into it.
You know,
it's not Fit Nation podcast if me and Ken don't debate.
I like that though, bro. There's a certain comfortability that there's a certain like friendship dynamic. It's saying we're all friends. You talk to each other on that level.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to. I don't know. I find it boring if everybody agrees on everything.
Yeah.
I don't purposely debate, but I kind of do. I like to debate.
There's a passion behind your belief in something, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna want to stick to your guns when you're talking about something you believe in.
It's usually the opposite. It's my lack of belief. I like to prove that it doesn't matter, that you don't have to pick one. If you pay attention, it's not that it's like, no, this is better. It's like nothing is better. That's how I feel. I feel like everything is specific to your life and your person. So I actually don't like when something is precise. I'm like, no. Just because you like that doesn't mean anything. So I'm usually trying to prove that it doesn't matter is the case. You know, that's how my brain. I guess I'm a Libra. It's a balance scale, right? It's like, why do you believe this so hard?
I'm a Libra.
Have you?
I'm Libra too, bro. I'm Libra.
I'm an Aquarius. But that's why we can all talk.
October 14th.
We jive.
Oh,
October 9th.
Well, then that's why me and Ken get into it, because we're probably both trying to do the same thing. He's probably looking at it from his angle, like, no, why do you think that? And I'm looking at why you think that, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're trying to find balance, because it's all about being fair, right?
When's your birthday, baby?
29th September.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start arguing with Brett soon here too. You know? No, but just in general, like, I just don't like the idea that this is the right way, because I don't believe in right ways.
That's
You know,
like,
people have proved that literally, like the fucking deep conversation with me and Stu earlier. Whatever works for them, right? Like, there's so many different ways to do shit. So maybe that doesn't work for Beatty or you, Ken, or me, but it works for Jordan or it works for Brad or whatever. Like, whatever works, stick to that shit.
If you can dream it, you can do it.
No. Like I feel like
it's not real, apparently.
my entire bodybuilding journey taught me one thing: that there's no rules whatsoever. And if you keep believing there's rules, you're never gonna fully get it. So with my body, I'm like, there's no way. Like, that wouldn't work. How? No, that's impossible. Everybody would frown upon it. And then I tried it, and that's the only thing that works for me. So I'm like, these rules are like, who's making these rules? Oh, because back in the 90s, this is how we did it. I don't care how you did it. I'm not Ronnie Coleman. I'm not Ken. I'm not Joe. I'm myself. So what it takes for me to do it, that's what I'm gonna do. Everybody can say that's wrong. Don't have that bagel. Don't take that. Don't do that. But if I'm doing it and I'm getting better, then it doesn't matter. So I'm all about being precise and throwing out the rule book. I don't want to hear the rule book. I don't want to hear, well, this is usually what. I don't care. What is this? Who is this person? What does he have to do to get the job done? You know, and that's all that matters. If Brett has to eat 800 carbs, there's no way you can do that 3 weeks out. Well, yes, there's a way, and I'm doing it, and I'm showing you that that's how it goes. So, you know,
so I'm the opposite, right? I'm an analytical person where I'm going to take the data and see top 10 guys in the Olympia for the last 30 years, right?
Yeah.
What are the methods, and what are the methods here? Like, we're not going back into that topic, but it's sort of like there are certain things that people have done for millennia to bring out the best physiques on the planet. Like, science at this point is just starting to catch up to a lot of these things that have already been proven to be bro theories, or whatever you want to call it, especially with science too. Science changes all the time. That's why sometimes I don't even, these people that believe these studies and they quote it with their hearts and they're willing to go to death for it. It's like, bro, the studies change like every 3 years. You know, like I could go by what I see, what I know has been done and works. And if there's an outlier here, yeah, it may work for this person, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else here. But this is the general thing that people have done for a major amount of time, and they're successful at it. So that's just how I view things usually.
That makes perfect sense analytically, right? But then check this out. This is how my brain works, right? I'm like, well, the top 10 guys are anomalies as well.
Yeah.
So can you really say, well, I'm going to go by the top 10 guys, where the top 10 are the highest, are the most lethal anomalies? So in my head, I'm like,
that's true.
Well, just because Ronnie can squat and deadlift twice a week, does that mean that's what we should do? Maybe not.
And I was gonna say that too. Like, and then science over time, right? It does play a role. So, like, you think the guys in the 90s were eating fucking 2 or 3 muffins right before going on stage? You think they were doing that kind of shit? No. Like this is stuff that's introduced, that's been tried, and it works for some people, kind of thing.
They were doing apple pie filling.
Pie
Yeah,
filling.
see,
You did
fucking
pie filling.
Arnold,
Some
that's
people
what
did
I'm
burgers, but people did burgers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there's truth in both. Who would I listen to? Am I gonna like no smoke whatsoever? I like Mike Israetel, but am I gonna sit there and listen to Mike Israetel, who's never really been in shape, tell me that we can get in shape eating popcorn, or am I gonna listen to Ken? Right. So then at that point, I'm always gonna slightly favor experience and people who are in it. Not even a little bit favor. I'm always gonna favor that over science, because what the fuck is the science? Like Syracuse did some study on middle-aged women eating 50 grams of protein. We're not middle-aged women. We're closer to Ken. So wouldn't it make more sense to look at people like us? You know. So if like I lean more to Ken's side. Let's say I'm like 60% Ken's side, but the other 40%, I'm like, maybe maybe there's more, gray area. But I'm always gonna ask Ken how to get big arms before I ask the science guy how to get big arms. It just
Before you ask me.
I would actually, you know what's funny? I actually had this conversation. I would never ask Ken how to get big arms. Ken has always had big arms, meaning no matter what the fuck this guy did, he was going to have them. Now, if it was somebody that had small arms and there was a lagging body part and then they grew their arms all big, that's the guy I want to ask.
Yeah. It's
I'll
like
let you know when it happens, Joe.
I just talked to my boy about that, right? I'm like, yeah, sometimes the worst person to ask is the person who got it, but it kind of depends, because I don't need to do a lot for my arms. But if I'm gonna write you out a program, I would still know what to write for you, right?
Oh, yeah, you know how to do it. Yeah,
exactly. Which is probably the opposite of whatever you've been doing. If you're like, Beatty, I've been training arms 3 times a week, I'm like, stop training 3 times a week. Let's go out on 1, and let me see you train it. And you're doing this, and I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. You know the basics and stuff. But like for me, like I would never ask Phil Heath, "Hey man, how did your arms so big?" They're gonna be big no matter what the fuck the guy did.
Exactly. But that's how you know I'm a Libra, because I'm taking this approach talking to Ken. But if I was here with a science guy, I would be doing the opposite. I'd be like, hey, Janicki, you really think that? What about Ronnie Coleman? What about, So it's always, I'm always saying the opposite, because I actually believe both sides. I just like to be more in the middle. I don't like to go too far. So if I'm here talking to Janicki, I would be like, yeah, Janicki, but do you really, can you go a little heavier? Can you do, Janicki trains hard though. I worked out with him. So, in the past, I didn't really understand that training, but doing it and actually doing it, it's different from what I thought. But just generally speaking, somewhere here, I would argue the opposite of Ken just as much as I would argue Ken. It's just for the sake of balance.
The common denominator in anything you do in any approach is the work ethic and the consistency behind it, and then that's it. That's the only rules you need. Those are the only 2 rules. Everything else, like you said. So however you pursue that, that's what's going to work for you, and just keep doing that.
100%. And just to preface it, no matter how much we debate, nobody thinks like it's not about being right or wrong. I don't believe any of us are right or wrong. We're just giving opinions and we're debating opinions.
To be honest, be open-minded too. Like it allows you to be open-minded. Like I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying like this can also work. Like,
exactly.
Don't be closed off. Like it's obviously possible because everybody does shit different and it works.
Exactly. Because I'm doing shit exactly how Ken does it. I'm completely old school when it comes to my shit. Right?
Yeah, same.
I think we all are, but like for my clients and stuff, I'm definitely a lot more open-minded because I'm seeing the variables are different with people. But I'm always gonna be on Ken's side as far as what I do for myself and where I lean. Though I think we all are more to the old school side.
Yeah,
but like these conversations too, man. Like it's like. Shit, what if I learned something today? Because I'm open-minded. You can always apply it to somebody that they may not be able to do it like you. But because there's different avenues based on these kind of conversations, you're only going to be better at being a coach and even an athlete yourself.
Exactly.
Like if you ever get bored with some shit or you need like a little spark in your life, try a different approach. We do it with training,
Facts.
Like how many times have you done something with training Okay, go ahead. I guess you're leave.
Yeah, I feel like we've been on long enough. I'm starting to sweat. Oh, I'm the new Ken now.
Oh,
Metabolism. You see that? That metabolism's heating up, bro. Your boy. My metabolism is on point now. So
Hey, your
I'm
glasses
usually
always been red.
no. I fucking broke a bunch of my glasses in prep, so this is lying around
I've
somewhere.
been literally the last 2.5 hours. I've been like, those fucking red.
I asked him the last pod too. I asked him the last pod. I was like, "Yo, what's up with those glasses?"
I didn't even realize until this one. It's fucked up.
Old lady glasses. Old lady glasses. I feel like because of me, people think it's like a fashion statement. I'm like, no, it's literally old lady glasses. It's not a fashion statement.
Fucking fabulous, bro.
All right, all right, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on, man.
See you guys later.
Good seeing you both, or all three of you.
Surprisingly, I had fun. I wasn't feeling too good when I woke up, but I had a good chat with y'all. All right, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro.
All right,
Catch y'all.
take care,
Peace.
boys.